Hello, everybody. Looks like we have 3 people. Hello, Rusty. Let's hope we get more people, but if it doesn't happen, it's not a problem. Hello, hello. Hello, Joshua. Hello, Dennis. You have hot tea. I have cold tea, actually. I'm using drinking iced tea. Got 5 people up on here. How you guys doing? How's your Friday going? I'm going to be here for a while, maybe for 4 hours. So any questions, comments, whatever, throw them at me. These headphones are a little... Irish breakfast. Oh. Now, what does an Irish breakfast consist of? Is that like, what is that, beans or like baked beans and bacon and sausage and blood sausage and eels? I know the English like to eat eels. I'm not sure about the Irish, though. But I know the English, they got a thing for eels. Oh, just tea? Damn. Okay. It's better than eating like eels. And the English have this weird dish. I saw it on YouTube. It was like eel pudding. Like eels, and then they melt it down into a pudding. It's so horrible. Jellied eels. Yeah, it was bizarre, but it's probably some kind of relic from the Anglo-Saxons, if I had to guess, because I know that the Scandinavians like to ferment their fish. So I guess the eel in jelly is kind of the same thing. It's a way to preserve them. Eels are... I've actually tried eel. I've actually tried eel one time. It was at a Japanese sushi place. It was actually very good with soy sauce and rice. Very tasty. Yeah. Russian-Ukrainian tensions have been ongoing for a very long time. So, yeah. Yeah. Russian troops near the Ukrainian border, Russian proxies, Russian soldiers in Donbass. This has been a reality for a very long time. We can go back to 2014 when the whole Crimea war and began, and then you had the Donbass situation erupt. But I mean, Russian-Ukrainian tensions go back a long, long time. Yeah, you can go back to the late 1800s. You'll find it there. Early 1900s. You'll find it there. World War I, World War II. Yeah. Yeah, eel and sushi. That's what I've tried. The book I've been reading on Poland, I can't finish this book. I got like 60 something pages, maybe 50 something pages to go on the whole Poland thing. And it's a very informative book, very fascinating read. There's a lot of information in it. It's a very good book, actually. I'm definitely going to do a video review of it when I'm done reading it. The book does talk a lot about Ukraine. I'm on the last chapter, which is literally just on Ukraine. And man, the Ukrainians, I mean, talk about collaborating with the Nazis. There was a lot of that was going on. And Ukrainian nationalists today love to talk about how Ukrainian nationalists back in World War II were fighting the Nazis. Okay. That's like half the story. For one thing, Ukrainian nationalists were not fighting the Nazis because they hated Nazism or they hated fascism. They fought the Nazis because the Nazis were basically trying to control Ukraine and take it for themselves. And they were using the Ukrainian nationalists as just tools for their own ends. Once some of the Ukrainian nationalists realized this, they started fighting the Nazis. They started resisting the Nazis. It had nothing to do with, oh, fascism is bad and we have to fight fascism. And it had everything to do with two dogs fighting for the same bone, just like the Soviets and the Nazis fighting each other. Nothing to do with hating fascism or anything like that. because the Ukrainian nationalists had no qualms with collaborating with the Nazis in the beginning. They had no moral issue with murdering Polish civilians in the most grotesque ways you can imagine. It was all about, well, the Nazis have just been using us, and now we're going to fight them. Okay, it's like America supporting a terrorist organization, and then the terrorist organization turns on America. If it doesn't have legs, it's not meant to be consumed. Yeah. Well, fish doesn't have legs. I don't trust legless foods or Germans. Wanted to say I sincerely empathize with your frustration around the Catholic Church. I share it. I'm going to stay on the boat no matter how rough the waters get. Thought I heard a cat meowing. I think that's one of the neighborhood kids just having a little too much fun. Um, yeah, I mean, I totally get it. What you're saying there, Dennis. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think there's a limit, you know. I think there's a limit to everything. And sometimes I get the feeling that, man, this is okay. This is going to sound a little antagonistic, but it's not. It's not supposed to be antagonistic. Sometimes I get the feeling that many Catholics will victim blame, not victim blame. They'll attack the victim. So if somebody comes over and says, "Hey, listen, I've had like a really negative experience in the Catholic Church, or like I was sexually harassed by priests, et cetera, and I just don't feel comfortable going to like this particular church or something." You have people come up and they're like, "It doesn't matter. How dare you say these things? It doesn't matter. You're attacking the body of Christ." And there's a lot of that sort of behavior in the Catholic Church, and it's sad to say this, but these types of Catholics, they act like they're in a cult. They act like cult members in a cult. When someone is abused by the cult members will attack the victim, and they'll say, "Well, how dare you say these things? It doesn't matter what you went through. What matters is the name, the religious institution or whatever." Um, truly, I believe that everything wrong with the Catholic Church is found in the congregation. It's not really just in the bishops or in the clergy or in the monasteries or the priest or whatever. Um, Everything wrong with the Catholic Church is ultimately reflected in the congregation. Because the priests and the bishops are simply products of society. They're simply products of like um, the Catholic world. And every single priest, every single bishop, every single cardinal at one point in time was a layperson. And so every corrupt priest, every evil cardinal and bishop and Vatican spokesperson came from the laity, which means ultimately everything wrong with the Catholic Church is found in the laity, it's found in the congregation, it's found in the lay people. So when I see priest doing something evil, but then like congregants will protect that priest and they'll attack anyone who tries to expose that priest, um, those people are the source of everything wrong. They're the source of all the bad bishops. They're the source of all the bad priests. And even the people who are like, well, it's the priests and the bishops that are the problem. Those people are also the problem. The people who talk like that, they're also the problem because they simply want to look at everything from the top down. I look at everything from the bottom up. I actually look at nothing from the top down. I look at everything from the bottom up. So if we have bad politicians, it's because we have a corrupt society. If we have bad priests and bad bishops, it's because we have a bad congregation. It's because we have a bad laity. And so these people who are like, it's the bishops and the priests, and that they're also part of the problem because they don't want to recognize that all the issues are actually spawned from the congregants. So I've been trying to help stockpile canned foods for family household, especially after parents and little half sis got the virus, and then mom has been having to work overtime. I've been housekeeping. Okay. You're right about victims blaming, especially by the trads. Yeah. It's not, it's, yeah, you'll see this a lot. What was it? Like yesterday, I did a video, and then some on like how the Catholic Church in Texas is super corrupt, and the corruption is ubiquitous. It's not just in San Antonio or in Austin; it's all over. It's in Houston, it's in Galveston, it's everywhere, and it's a ubiquitous problem in Texas. And somebody was like, "Well, what's your evidence that these priests were like?" Because I named some priests that I knew personally, who were predators, and this guy was like, well, how what's your evidence? And like, well, this guy, for one thing, the guy that wrote this comment, he's been following me for years, and it's like, you know, this story already, I've written about it many times, so I don't know why you're asking me this question, but since you're asking me, it's like every single person that I mentioned um in that particular video can be seen in public information as being predators. It's all public knowledge. Like, for example, Father Christopher Phillips literally covering up and protecting a pedophile by the name of uh, um, Deacon Orr. I forgot his first name. Um, Deacon Orr molested children, and he was going through trial, and it was becoming very obvious that he was guilty, and then he died. Just so happened to die, right? And Phillips for years was covering up and protecting this guy. I don't know why Phillips hasn't seen a courtroom. I mean, last time I checked, protecting criminals is a pretty big deal. Um, but Phillips was protecting this guy, and that's public knowledge. The bishop told everyone in San Antonio that this guy was protecting a pedophile. That's public knowledge. So I'm simply reporting what's known in the public. I'm not just this guy who comes around and is going to give you hearsay. Now, there are some stories that I have about the Catholic Church in Texas that is strictly from me and my experience and cannot be found in public information. So, for example, there was this one priest who invited himself to my home to see my library. And I thought there was nothing harmful about it. I thought it was completely harmless, and that this guy had merely an intellectual interest in my library. I said, "Oh, Father, welcome. Yes. Oh, I would love to show you my library. I got all these books on theology and church history, and I got all these volumes on volumes from the medieval period and the ancient Christian world, and the books on the Crusades and all these things. Oh, great." So I'm showing him my books, and he's not even looking at my books. He's literally like laying on my bed. I turn around, I see this dude laying on my bed, and my dad walked in. My dad's like, "What's going on?" And he gets back up. This is very very bizarre experience. Now, one of the weirdest experiences that I had, and this was not with a priest who was a predator, but I had one experience where a trad Catholic priest who was a part of the SSPX, which I guess you could say he's not part of the Vatican, but in a way they are, because the Vatican does influence how they run around and how they function, because a lot of people in the SSPX want to be under Rome, and many of them don't. But anyway, this priest, he was what was his name? His last name was Hess, I think. Father Hess, which, I mean, his last name is Hess. That should be like a red flag enough, but we can't discriminate based on last names. But this guy comes into my house with another priest. We have dinner. We have a good conversation. Everything is fine. Well, for the most part, but he starts going on and on about Western civilization. And I asked him a simple question. I said, "So what do you mean by Western civilization? How would you define Western civilization?" He's like, "Well, Socrates and Plato and blah, 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 blah." He starts getting all Ayn Rand on me, I guess you could say. And he starts getting Jordan Peterson on me, you know? These headphones snapped, so they're a little bit crooked, but don't mind them. So this guy, he starts going off about like Western civilization, and I said, Well, what about like all the Mexicans who fought the anti-Catholic regime of Caius? Like, are they part of Western civilization or not? And he's like, "Would you let me drink my damn coffee?" Okay. So hours later, we start talking about World War II, and he starts telling me about the Battle of Dunkirk. And he said, "Well, you know, Hitler could have killed all those British soldiers, but he didn't. It shows you how merciful the Wehrmacht was." And I was like, what's when people start talking like that, even if what they say may be true, I always get suspicious. So then he gets like super he gets like super tired, and he wants to take a nap. So I he takes a nap, and these freaking headphones are like, good grief, messed up headphones. He takes a nap, and then he whatever, he takes a nap, and then he got up, and we talked for a little bit, and then he left, and that was it. So I Googled his name, and I found out that this dude literally has a collection of SS paraphernalia in his house. I read this article. I'm going to take these off because they look kind of ridiculous. I read this article, and the article talked about how these people picked up this Father Hess guy from an airport, and how he was literally dressed up like in an SS uniform. And then he showed off all of his SS paraphernalia in his house. I couldn't believe it. Well, I could believe it. So I'm like, this whole time a freaking Nazi was in my house. I can't. It's insane. It's just totally insane. But dang. Yeah, that was just a bizarre experience that I had, man. So in the Catholic Church, I have found Nazis, and I have found predators. It's so bizarre, man. You know, I hate it when people bring up my old videos. They say, "Oh, but back in like this one video that you made in 2012, you said like that was back in 2000." You know, a lot of things change in a human being over 5 years. A lot of things. I mean, that was almost a decade ago. I mean, a man's mind, a person's mind, a person's mentality changes in a decade. And so, one thing I like about the internet is that I can look back at my old stuff and be like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I've changed in my views there. Yeah, you know, I've corrected myself here and there or whatever." But there's just so much of that, you know. Like I hate when people say, "Well, back in 2013, you said this, and back in 2012, you said." Well, back in 2017, I said something else. You know, there was a time when I actually bought into the whole refugee crisis hysteria. Like I bought into the whole thing of like, "Oh man, we need German now." Like, "Oh, the good German patriots over there, Pegida, they're good people." Then I actually spent some time and read about them. Oh, there's like a bunch of neo Nazis and skinheads and this and that. Like, oh man, those people are pretty messed up. I don't want to, I don't want to support those people. And I definitely don't want to support any cause like that. So it's just a bizarre, like, getting into the whole world of internet politics and all that. It's a very bizarre place, and you can get easily sucked into a certain way of thinking. You can get sucked into like a certain mentality, a certain movement. I certainly know people who I've known for a decade, and they still haven't changed. No matter how much I talk to them, no matter how much they read my stuff or they may look at my stuff, they still will buy into all of the crazy right-wing claptrap. So let's read y'all's comments. Both the trads and the progressives are two sides of the same coin. Maybe, I don't know. They're like, one's fascist and one is far left. So there's definitely differences between the two. Most church members live in La La Land. Oh God, tell me about it. Yeah, 100%. Like I hate it. I don't hate it, but it's always kind of frustrating when I tell my story to people and they're like, "Well, I never experienced that in my church." Well, maybe it's because you're like a 300-pound guy that no one really cares about talking to. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a very talkative person, and I can be a very talkative person, and I love talking to people about politics and theology, and people who are interested in that subject, that is. And when I went into the Catholic Church, I went in there super excited, super excited. And I was like, oh, the church, this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and this, and history and theology, and this and that, and this. So I spent a lot of time. I would go out of my way to talk to priests and all that stuff. So when you go out of your way to talk to people and meet people, guess what? You're gonna learn new things, and you're gonna maybe be ambushed by some shit that you didn't think was going on. I never thought that at my church. Well, maybe because you're not really talking to a lot of people. Maybe you're just one of those people who just go to mass and you leave. Like, people don't factor in these things, like if you're just a guy who goes to mass and you leave, you may never know that your priest is a fascist Nazi who has SS uniforms. You may never know that your priest is a child predator, or someone who wants to prey on young men, or someone who literally functions like Hannibal Lecter minus the cannibalism. Or maybe there are some priests who are cannibals. It wouldn't surprise me. Maybe it's like when I went to the monastery in Rome, and I'm like, man, there's some witchcraft going on here. They're like, well, I don't see. And there were people that I knew in that monastery, people that I've known for years, who were like, I don't see any witchcraft. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't see what's going on. You don't see what's happening. I had an Ethan Hawke moment in that monastery. And for those of you who don't know, Ethan Hawke is actually I think he's an underrated actor. But he does one thing I like about Ethan Hawke's acting is that he does a very good job in kind of letting things slide by for a long time, and then he explodes and he's like, does anybody see what's going on? Like, that was me in Italy. I'm like, does anybody see what's going on here? You have a mother superior who's running a monastery who literally loves Kabbalism. You have nuns who are involved in weird interpretive dancing, and they're like incorporating Jewish mysticism in their stuff. You have nuns who are literally like putting a circle on the floor with candles around it, and they have a 5-pointed star in the circle, and they're putting a candle in each corner, and they're trying to pray for the soul of some nun who died. It was just bizarre. And then you have some guy who's funding the whole monastery, and it turned out that he was a member of the communist underground in France, which was being backed by the CIA. And then you find out that this same guy left communism and now is part of some crazy far-right ideology, and his wife is a separatist who wants to fragment the European Union. Like, it was all there, man. You saw it all in this monastery. It was bizarre. And then you have a monk who's clearly homosexual, and he's clearly a predator, to the point that in the middle of having dinner, I'm having a normal conversation with people, and this guy does a biting gesture very, very close to my hand, almost biting my freaking hand like a lunatic. Nobody sees it, and nobody sees anything. People, you're absolutely right. They live in absolute freaking la la land. That's why I don't really feel sorry for them when they're like, "How could this happen? Why did it happen? How could the Pope? What's he doing? What's going on, guys? I'm so upset. I demand answers." Yeah. Anyway, couldn't parents go with their kids to confession so they can be truly vigilant, or have a friend of their child go with them? Okay, that's not difficult. But here's the thing. If you are so untrustful or untrusting of a priest to the point where you have to go into the confession with your child, that kind of tells me that there is a very, very ever-present problem of predator behavior that you yourself are worried about, to the point where you're going to walk in with your child. See, it doesn't, it's like saying, well, we have all these school shootings going on. Wouldn't it be better if we just have like an army of armed men in the school? Well, yeah, but that still doesn't really fix the problem. It only deals with symptoms. Remember Bashar al-Assad, the leader of Syria? Well, he's not really much of a leader anymore, but when he was the president of Syria, he did this interview, and he said something that was really awesome. He said that the signs of a safe society, of a secure society, are not armed men. It's peaceful people. That's the sign of a secure society. If you have to have armed people everywhere, it's not a secure society. It's like when I went to Mexico, and for the first time I saw police officers walking around with machine guns and bulletproof vests everywhere. Wasn't a very secure society. I'm trying to fix these headphones. I'm just going to leave them on. I don't care. Do you like Colombian women? Do I like Colombian women? if I met a Colombian woman that I liked, I would like her. Uh, there's no group of people, there's no group of women that I generally like. Like I generally like American women. I generally like Ukrainian. It's like if you meet a woman and you like her and she's from a particular country, it doesn't, it's not the it's not what's at the center of it all. I had a date with a Colombian girl many years ago. This was over 10 years ago. This was maybe 13, 14 years ago. It was a long time ago. I met this Colombian girl, and we started talking, and I asked her out, and we went out to this restaurant, and she was a real just not a very likable person, and she would shit test you in the date, and she was from Colombia. It's not like she was born here, and no, she was from there, and she'd be like, well, I like this guy, this other guy that I like, and she's talking about like another guy that she likes in the date. It's like, you don't have to tell me about this, but then she was like, I like this guy, and he's a psychopath, but I like that about him. I like that strength about him, and I'm just like, oh god. Oh man, that was like the beginning of the whole MGTOW thing. And then as a young guy, you go through something like that. Like, this woman is telling me about how much she loves a psychopath in our date, and you just go home frustrated. How old was I at the time? I was maybe How old was I? It's like 20, 19 or 20 years old, and yeah, I was probably like 20, and um, you go on YouTube and there is the MGTOW videos. Well, guys, you went through a shit test. Well, this is why you got to go MGTOW. And then as you get older and you stop really giving a shit about any of that stuff, then all of a sudden you have women who are like, why don't you call me? Why don't you do it? And you're like, because I have better things to do, like play video games. Yeah. What is your thoughts on Protestant sola fide? It's half the picture. It's like faith, yes, but faith has to be shown by works. That's my position. St. James said it. Show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works. So it's not just faith as in this whole like pie in the sky way of thinking. It's like faith that is shown in action, reflected in action. That's what I would say. A church must start out like that and do so organically. I love that. Okay. For the first time, Heather is just we're in agreement. One of the few times in our dialogues we are in agreement. It's amazing, guys. You see, the power of the internet can bring people together. Bonjour. Bonjour. Buongiorno. I've been stockpiling instruments and weird hats. When the society starts to fall apart, I'm going to the Pula arena and LARP as Nero playing the banjo. You should go to the arena and act like the guys in the Titanic movie that were playing the violin as the ship was sinking. Hello, Ted. Do you think all these corruption in the Catholic Church can at least be reduced by a grassroots movement from outside the church? Yes, I think it can happen. Does it exist? No, it does not exist. So what I was trying to do back in 2014, I tried to start a movement called Operation Whip. It was basically you know that a priest is evil, you know that he's corrupt, and you confront him on his corruption. No violence. I don't support violence, but you confront the person and you have somebody film it. And then you post it online and you would say, look, this person is confronting this priest. Watch this evil priest cower away and yeah, run away from the truth and like a scoundrel. And nobody did it. Okay. So, but I think that if everyone just like, there's hundreds of these corrupt priests. So if everybody just confronted them, which wouldn't take that long, the Vatican, because of all of the corrupt, all the bad publicity, the Vatican would have to like do a major change. It's one thing for secular media to attack the Vatican, but it's another thing for like lay people to do it. There are plenty of non-Catholics who are exposing the Catholic Church, but there's not a lot of Catholics who are exposing the Catholic Church. There's not a lot of Catholics who are confronting the priests. And if it's just people on the outside who are exposing the church, then the Vatican can just say, well, let's just do our best to cover up things. Let's just do our best to hide things so that the people inside don't really care so much. And it kind of looks like to the people inside of the church that we're doing something about it. We have to get rid of that whole perception, and we have to get rid of that smoke and mirrors strategy, and really have the lay people themselves do a revolution. The problem is that it's not going to happen. And by revolution, I mean like literally getting into these people, getting on these people's faces, not on these people's faces, but like confronting these people up front and telling them that you're a scoundrel, telling them that you are a predator, telling them that you are wicked, that you're a heretic, that you're evil, all these things, getting it on film, telling, and not just like going in front of them and yelling at them, but like going up to them and be like, hey, Father, can I ask you something? And then you bring it up in a calm way with a calm demeanor. But then as he begins to run away, as he begins to argue with you, then you can sort of match with that energy and become more aggressive yourself. And I think that if enough people did this, we could have a serious change in the church. The only reason why the church hasn't really changed all that much is because lay people aren't really doing much about it. And as long as lay people aren't doing much about it, and they're just sitting in the congregation, and they're just they're donating money to the church, then the church really sees no incentive to really to fix the problem. There needs to be a grassroots movement. I think that's the only way that we could actually see a change, because everything comes from the bottom up, and if it's not coming from the bottom, then nothing's going to come from the top. There, I just made that up. I like the sound of that. We're going to go with that. Guess who's coming over for dinner? Genocidal humanoid. What I meant by the coin comment is that both the trads and progressives serve the ideology at the expense of the truth. Oh, okay, I agree with you there. Illusions, Catholic. That's never happened to me, Theo. Maybe you're too ugly and quiet to be safe. That's a funny comment. Theo, thoughts on Nicolas Cage? I think he's an overrated actor. Do you think Biden really literally shit his pants next? I don't care. I don't know. A person can never even change in half a decade. I find it important for those with any kind of large platform to clarify themselves, to get it out of the way ahead of time. Um, if you're gonna look at somebody's statements from like 2012 and then ignore everything that he said after that, I think that's pretty disingenuous of you. But Mexico has 15 biggest GDP in the world, Ted. You're racist. Why do a lot of Protestants say drinking alcohol is a sin? Because they're assholes who want to control people. I remember you said that you'll never marry a black girl unless she was super hot. Did I say that? There you again. Did I say? When did I say? Was that like in 2012, 2013, maybe? Man, you're going way back. Do you like Colombian? What? No. I think your coin comment was more closer to the horseshoe theory that explains that further left or further right both ideology went, the closer they resemble and mirror each other. There is actually truth to that. I found that people who become like super left wing, by super left wing, I don't mean like woke, like oh yeah, everything is racist, man. I'm talking about people who are seriously communist, like they're reading Marxist Leninist literature. They're reading like Hegelian literature. They're reading Nietzsche. Those types of people. The harder they become, the more right wing they actually will appear. I mean, you've had self-proclaimed Marxist Leninists saying that they were really happy when Trump won because it was our time now to use Trump to rile up the masses and hopefully bring about revolutionary consciousness or something like that. Like a stool sample. It's time to turkey bash, hombre. An armed society and populace in general is a polite society. Not necessarily. Mogadishu is a pretty armed society, and they're not necessarily polite. You said literally a couple of months ago. Why I said that? I don't even know. I did not say that a couple. Did I say that a couple of months ago? I don't even remember. What is your spiritual condition of today? What is your spiritual condition of you today? Oh God. I don't know. What's your spiritual condition? I don't even remember. Independent politician Ralph Nader has said that the political spectrum. Send me the video, Mr. Romanian, and give me like timestamp it for me and be like, you said it here. I don't remember. I don't even remember. Ralph Nader. Who gives a shit about Ralph Nader? That guy's like a dinosaur that nobody cares about. He tried to run so many damn times, lost every damn time, and just basically was an attention whore. So I don't really care about Ralph Nader. How's the chicken doing today? They're alive, actually, which is good. I'm always what's the term? I'm thankful anytime chickens are alive and not sick. I quit worrying about politics. Both sides are trash. The left is full of lunatics and the right is full of idiots. A couple of months ago. Okay, if I did say that, I don't really care. It's not a big deal. But anyway, yeah. Anybody drinking tonight or having a beer or what's going on with your Friday night? Hello, Anil John. Let's go. Let's go with the questions. Let's go with the questions. Even with the woke people, they're viewed by the hardcore communists as useful idiots. From what I've seen online, a lot of the hardcore communists, the tanky types, they actually hate the woke people. They don't even like each other because the woke crowd is so they're just really stupid. Actually, they're really really stupid people. I follow some of these pages on Instagram, and they're all like woke people, and they're like, everywhere I look, I see just institutional white supremacy. It's everywhere. Structural racism is everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see white people with sombreros on their head. It's just cultural appropriation. Like it has nothing to do with communism. Absolutely nothing to do. It's just some weird new thing that's popped up that doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. And most people don't give a shit about it, and they're not even going to follow it. So yeah, I'm not even really worried about the whole woke thing because most people don't even care. Like most leftists or most like hardcore lefties, I think would even reject it. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Definitely to the average person, it's something that is insignificant. Are you doing any more videos on the Judeo, uh, Roman Catholic, and other books and ancient historical annals? Well, no, I did a whole bunch of videos on that because I was reading Josephus's history on the Roman Jewish War. So as long as I was reading it, I was doing videos on what I was learning. So I mean, I don't really plan on doing it anytime soon. Wokeness is a neo-pagan pseudo-religion. Kinda, yeah. Actually, I've seen people because I remember I've seen people who said things like, cultural appropriation is so bad. We can't take anything from other cultures. So I'm just going to go back to like my Anglo-Saxon religion or something like that. Like it is a way to it is sort of a gateway to neo-paganism. Yeah, I could totally see that. Outside of that attempt of a military drone, what other extraordinary inventions made by the brilliant Turkish science community have come into fruition as of late? I don't know. Drones are pretty significant, though, I would say, in war. Yeah. Republican governors take in over Virginia. Yeah, I don't really give a shit, dude. Who gives a shit, dude? This is just like what happened back in 2011. I think it was 2011 when what was his name? Bill Christie, or I forgot his name. Christie. He became the governor of New Jersey, and they were like, he's the first Republican governor of New Jersey since like 40 years. 40 years. And I remember seeing the video. It was on live, and it was after Christie just got elected, and everybody was clapping their hands and cheering. And Christie's like, I'm gonna do this, and everyone's cheering at everything he says, like we're in a Zionist church or something. And I remember watching this, rolling my eyes the whole time. Like, I can't believe people give a shit about this. What happened to Christie? Nobody cares about him. Everybody hated him eventually, and people thought that he was like some kind of supporter of Obama. I mean, I remember it came down to that. Like, who gives a shit? Like, if this Governor of Virginia does something good, okay, I'll applaud it. If he does something bad, okay, well, I'll watch people who are worshiping him now hate him. Um, I don't really care. Like, this is something that's been ongoing in American politics for a very long time. You see this sort of thing, um, where it's like, oh, this governor won and this senator won, this guy won. It's like, okay, who cares? The biggest thing that I'm worried about is like raising taxes. I don't want no freaking blue retards coming to my state and they're like, we got to raise the taxes, and yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't. I've come to the point in my political life where I don't expect Republicans to do anything extremely different. And even if they do, like with Texas and the abortion law, I know that this, like, some federal judge is going to come and strike it down, which is what happened. And they're going to put a stop to it, and it may be a temporary stop. Who knows? Supreme Court's going to get involved. Who knows? We'll see what the Supreme Court says. If the Supreme Court accepts Texas's and Mississippi's anti-abortion laws, then we've really, really made huge steps against abortion. If not, then we're back to square one pretty much. But I've come to the point where it's like, don't raise my taxes, and I'll be happy. Please don't raise taxes. I like the boomer type commies more than the wokies. At least here, they often have the old school view of decadence and are at least more honest in their Yeah, from what I've heard in Eastern Europe, the old school communists are actually like against the LGBT, and they have more, I guess you could say, Christian values. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Whereas the woke people are like, there's like a million pronouns we have to use now, and you can't just say she and he. I want you to refer to me as they and them. Don't refer to me as he and she. And my little sister over here, you call her Ginger, okay? You call her Ginger, even though she was born male. You call her Ginger. You call her that's her name. Don't call Ginger a her or a he or a they or that. You always refer to Ginger as Ginger. That's it. Like no one's gonna follow that bullshit. It's like I remember years ago. I remember reading about Jewish like modern Jewish cleaning rituals or something like that. And this was in a book that came from, I think, Eastern Europe. Like, this did not come from Semitic people living in the Middle East. It didn't come from Jews living in Arabia or the Middle East or anything like that. This came from Jews who were living in Ukraine. Okay. And I remember reading, and I wasn't searching for anything in particular. I was just like looking at what they believe in. And it talks about how, oh, in this particular festival, after the festivities are over, after the feast is over, you may not clean dishes as long as the pot is hot. As long as the pot is hot from the stove, you cannot clean it. You must only use pouring water on the pot after it has cooled down. If you remove the pot from the stove and it is too hot, you cannot clean it up. Doing so breaks the rules of Rabbi Nehemiah Davidovich's ruling, which he made based on the authority of the Zohar. Like, it was just insane stuff. Just making up rules for no reason at all. I remember watching this YouTube video, and it was like, can you if you can't mow the lawn on the Sabbath, if you step on the lawn and you break some blades of grass, does that mean that you're mowing the lawn on the Sabbath? I am not exaggerating. I literally saw this. In fact, if I can find this, I'll screen share it for you guys. But this one guy was like, if you walk on the lawn on the Sabbath and you break some blades of grass, does that constitute mowing the lawn on the Sabbath? The answer to that is no. Because while you did break some blades of grass on the Sabbath, your intention was simply to walk across the lawn, not to mow the lawn. Therefore, you are not breaking the Sabbath if you walk across the grass. You needed a rabbi to tell you that? Seriously, like the rabbinic Talmudic Jews, they're like the original wokers. They're the original wokies, just making up rules for the sake of making up rules for the sake of just controlling people. You can't take a pot out if it's hot and clean it. Like, it's against the rules of Rabbi Shalomovich, Davidovich, Nehemiahvich, whatever, bitch. And they're the original wokies. It's like when Anton LaVey said, the founder of the Church of Satan, he said that the Jews were the original Satanists. He actually said this in his book because they killed Christ. They're the original Wokies, man. The Talmudic ones, they're the original Wokies, just making up crazy ass rules. There's 50,000 rules you have to follow as a Jew. Like, that's just crazy. That's insane. I totally see why they become atheists. I completely see why they become atheists because if you really go down that road of like Talmudism, you're going down the road of schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. Anyway, brother, can you explain the situation in Yemen and why we never heard anything from Oman and on Islamic issues? I have Yemen is still a shithole. Last I heard, still fighting each other. You still have the Houthis there. You have a huge. Oh, come on, dude. This is like an easy one. You have a huge humanitarian crisis there, massive starvation, massive disease, uh, massive decline and really destruction of like medical infrastructure. It's a shithole. Okay, why we have never hear about Oman? I have no idea. I never really hear anything about Oman either. Yeah, they're part of that Arab sphere. So I mean, I guess whatever happens in Saudi, or not, I guess whatever happens in Saudi Arabia is um definitely going to affect Oman. So I don't know. I mean, there's not much out there to figure out. Like it's Arab stuff. Yemen is a shithole. It's a complete nightmare. Um, it's getting raped by a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So it's nothing a simple Google search couldn't tell you. So hardcore commies loves centralized government. Hardcore fascists love strong leadership that have centralized power. Both loves the same thing. Yeah, they both love big government to do what they want. I mean, which makes sense, right? Boomer commies are more than libertarians and gay grains. Dude, I can't stand libertarians. Give me a statist over a libertarian any day. At least they're honest. Libertarians are not honest. They're like, well, I don't want the state getting involved in this. Oh, really? Do you own your house? Yes, I do. How do we know that? Well, I have a deed to the house. Who issued the deed? Well, the state. So if we get rid of the government, how the hell do we even know that you're actually the proprietor of the house? You don't have the evidence. The Catholic Church covering up for pedophiles, protecting pedophiles. The state comes in and says, "Hey, federal agents here, you better cooperate with law enforcement, or else." Catholic Church cooperates. What do? That's why you need government, everybody. Well, we just get rid of government. Well, if you get rid of the government, guess what you're going to end up with? Another government, because that's just how human society works, guys. You can't avoid it. It's like sex. Human beings are going to have sex. Why? Because it's human nature. People are going to have government. Why? It's part of human nature. I disagree with you because back in 1381, there was a Irish society that didn't have any government. Yeah, okay. Chris Christie. Yeah, that was his name. He was horrible and annoying, sure, but everybody was clapping their hands when he became the first Republican governor of New Jersey in the last however many decades. Thoughts on women in the military? I don't really care. I don't really care. Yeah, women have been in the military for a very long time. If they want to work behind desks and be medics and be nurses, I don't have an issue with that. If they're going to be like fighting in combat, then there definitely, I think, is going to be issues with that, just from the physical differences between men and women. But I'm not sure how many women are in combat. I don't know. How many women are in combat? I don't know. Maybe I should do screen sharing with you guys. Maybe I should do screen sharing. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Share the screen. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this. Women in the military. Facts. Women were officially allowed to join the U.S. military during the last 2 years of World War I, and 33,000 of them signed up to work as nurses and other corp support roles. I have no issue with that at all. Let's see, women in combat, because this is where the nitty gritty comes in to play here. 1,055 women had access into combat specialties, while 653 women had completed training and were serving in combat roles. All active duty brigade combat teams are for infantry, armor, and field artillery fields include female soldiers. Okay. There's not a whole lot of them. Man, there's my computer. It's like telling me I can't access anything. See if I can get to the catch tier. Here we go. I don't give a shit about Denmark. Let's see. In Israel, all the women are soldiers. I've heard that a million times. They're fighting against like little skinny Palestinian guys. Captain Christian Griest and First Lieutenant Shay Harvard became the first two women to graduate from the U.S. Army Ranger School. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Let's see. Combat support. In modern warfare, however, where winning mines and gaining intelligence can prove more important at times than enemy casualties, having female soldiers serving alongside a combat unit may have some advantages. For example, the use of female U.S. military personnel attached to combat units specifically for the purpose of performing culturally sensitive searches, such as in the United States Marine Corps Lioness program, which used female Marines to search females at checkpoints both on the Iraq-Syrian border and inside urban areas. I can understand that. Another example is the U.S. Army cultural support teams that accompany special operations teams and work alongside them, providing access into the needs and information and from local community women and so they had a female engagement team in Afghanistan starting in 2010. The main purpose for these teams was to engage more female populations where such combat was not possible by male service members. These teams perform a number of duties, including intelligence gathering, relationship building, and human. Okay. I'm wondering how many women have died in combat. I don't know. Hold on. Women in combat casualties. Female veterans comprise 1.9% of all casualties and 2.4% of all deaths. And that's like, I'm guessing this is all the wars put into one. All American wars. But I don't think there's only 1,000 of them who have combat positions. It's not like a seriously substantial number. Hold on, my cat is just bitching and complaining at me right now. Hold on. Come on, sweetheart. Oy vey. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go back to normal screen. Consider listening to old lectures by former KGB agent who became a dissident. I've seen these before. There's so much wisdom from this guy. Yeah, I know I've seen this before. I don't know exactly. So what did you learn from this guy exactly that's so insightful? I'm interested to know. I used to watch your videos from the early 2010s. How much of your views have changed since then, politically and or religion? Oh God. So my principles have never really changed, right? I was always against racism. I was always against eugenics, always against social Darwinism, all of these things. That has not changed at all. What has changed is my my awareness of how widespread these things actually are. I used to think that these things were in the left, right? They were a problem for the left, but the right were good. The conservatives were good. Some of these nationalists were good. The patriots were good. And then in 2013, it's 2013. Yeah, 2013, 2010, actually, I began to notice Japan. I began to see, like, wait a second, they don't really teach the whole truth about World War II. They're not really acknowledging the atrocities that the Japanese military committed. You have a lot of Japanese politicians who deny these things, who deny Nanking, who deny what the Japanese did during the Second World War. I began to notice this in 2010, and then in I want to say late 2013, early 2014, I wrote an article about Japan, and this is when I began writing about nationalism. And then I saw the refugee crisis in 2015, and started writing about that in early 2016 and the dangers of, like, the far right and nationalism. And I really began to see that. I began to notice that, and I began writing a lot about that. And man, and then I had all the weird experiences in the Catholic Church, so that definitely destroyed my idealism, and it brought great disillusionment to my mind. So now I have very little idealism left within me, very little enthusiasm, very little optimism for a lot of things. The only thing that I'm very enthusiastic about is about teaching people my own disillusionment. So I hope that answers your question. You're close to 1,000 subscribers, my dude. Will you do a special live stream or something? That's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do a 1,000. If we can just hit that 1,000 subscriber number, if we can hit 1,000 subs, let's do that. We'll do a little party. He called it decades ago. Prophetic. Who did? Who called what decades ago? It's wrong for women to even be in combat positions en masse. Even in Israel, the females in IDF are limited to border patrol and logistics. Historically, women, yeah, I know, women are not really, they're not made for combat. I agree. For the most part, there are some women who are, like, really, really tough. Valentina Shevchenko is a good example, but I think for the most part, yeah. Yes, I agree, Ted. Ted, really do 1K sub celebration stream when we achieve it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Love it when you imitate accents. Yeah, I really tried, man. Glad you like it. I just received your dad book, Why I Left Jihad, but one question, why does your dad not speak out against jihad anymore? What? There's, like, literally hundreds of videos on YouTube of my dad talking about Islam. I don't know what more could he say. You know, my dad's come to the point where it's like, what more can he say? You know, like, he's exhausted everything. Like, he's exhausted his mind. He's exhausted the subject matter. Like, what more can you say on the subject? What more? What do you think he could say that he hasn't said already? If people want to learn about Islam, they'll go on YouTube. They're going to learn about my dad. Like, my dad is one of those guys that if you want to read about Islam, you're going to find out about my dad. Like, he's one of those types of figures. His presence on the whole counter jihad movement online is pretty ubiquitous. So, hope you enjoy the book. There are only two that exist in rabbinic Judaism. Rashi read it. Yeah, okay, here we go. Are you going to convert to Judaism, Mr. George? France, Belgium, or Quebec? Man, maybe Quebec, because they have those French fry dishes that they eat over there. I'm a little bit like, for Belgium, I'd be a little bit worried because Belgium is a really divided country. It's divided between the Flemish and the Wallonians, and they don't like each other very much. There's a lot of tension between the two sides. Also, you are bordering with Germany, and we all know what happened. We all know what happened in World War One. Germany invades Belgium, and that is the beginning of the First World War. Would not want to be in that situation. The Flemish are more right wing, and they're very separatist. I would hate to be in Belgium in the midst of an ethnic conflict there. France, I'm not really interested in because, again, you're bordering with Germany and you could end up in a World War II situation. So my best bet would be Quebec. I think we'll go with Quebec. Theo, please comment on the Masonic element among Middle Eastern background clergy. I have no clue, dude. This is the first time I've ever heard about Middle Eastern priests being in Masons. Why do they have federal jobs? Could you give me some examples of this, please? I'd appreciate that. Really like the Quebec. Honestly, I saw stuff like that on Bill Maher's Religious when he visited a trad Jewish center. It's crazy. Yemen needs to be annexed by glorious Romanian Empire. They would be better off. Yemen sucks. Also, Ted, never ever cut your mustache. You look so much. I got that Vlad the Impaler mustache. I shouldn't say that. That guy was a psychopath. Oman is boring but peaceful. The only place I'd not mind visiting in the Arabian Peninsula. Yes, they have little problems. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really heard anything about Oman. I mean, it's a good question. I've never heard anything about Oman ever. Yemen, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain. I've heard about lots of stuff about these countries. Never heard anything out of Oman. It's like I guess you could say it's like the Nebraska of the Arabian Peninsula. Nothing happens there. Do you think the Babylonian Talmud is worse than the Quran? It's probably a hell of a lot more confusing. I don't know. The Quran probably took a lot of stuff from the Talmud, so I don't even care. It's all insanity to me. Ramuniska do Taiza. I have no idea who this is. Ramuniska Sultana. Oh, Romanian Sultan. In the sense that the Talmud say Jesus Christ is boiling. Dude, the Talmud stuff is just crazy. It's all cancerous stuff. It's schizophrenic. Yeah, I don't really care about any of it. It's probably worse than the Quran. Yeah, in that case. Have you heard about the similarities between the Talmudic teaching? Yes, I have heard about this, and I believe that Islam definitely took things from the Jews. Definitely has some kind of Talmudic influence. Romanian Imperium is a thing. How much do you earn from your site on a monthly basis? I don't like talking about how much I make, but I do make I make a decent living from what I do. I'll just put it that way. Theo learned how to screen share. Give it a month, he will be hacking. Pretty soon, I'm gonna try to figure out, like, one thing I want to figure out is how to do a video where I can, like, concentrate all the sound on the headphones and then do an interview and just record it, and then from the headphones and the mic into the recording. Because right now when I do a recording of something, it's usually I make the output volume from the internal speakers of the computer, and it doesn't sound that good. I still haven't figured that out yet. Michael the Brave tried that back in 1600. He got assassinated by the Habsburgs. Do you think Biden will last until 2024? I have no idea. If Biden dies in the middle of his presidency, it'll be a crazy shit show, because everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God, you'll have one side saying, "Oh my God, the president died. This is a national emergency. The president died. What's going to go on? Kamala Harris is going to become the president. What's going to happen? She's such a beautiful, black, independent, strong woman. She's going to be the president of the United States. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen?" And then the other side of the country is going to be like, "Well, we're going to have a communist for the presidency now, and she's a communist, and her mother was a Maoist, and blah 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 blah." And we're going to be hearing that. And guess what's going to happen? The only thing that's going to happen is the right is going to become crazier and more intense, and they're going to shore up their support for the next election. And it would be very likely at that point that the next president would be a Republican, very possibly Donald Trump himself. I get emails from the GOP. Somehow they found my email address and they just send me bullshit all the time. Like, are you going to support this? Are you going to support? I never read them, but once in a while I'll look at them, and sometimes you hear stuff about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he needs your help. So it's very likely that Donald Trump will run again, I think. From my understanding, the Israeli army does not put women in. Okay, great. I am Dutch, and I don't share your German theory that they go back to previous behavior. This needs propaganda and such. I did not hear this. Do you have examples? Wait, hold on. That they go back to previous behavior. This needs propaganda and such. You're right that it needs propaganda, and there is propaganda. There's been right-wing propaganda happening in Germany for a very long time. The fact that you have a nationalist party becoming quite an established party, the third biggest party in Germany now, I want to say, The fact, and it's not just the AFD, the fact that Germany is just emphasizing more and more on building up its military. I think that's pretty significant. Germany is becoming less and less trusting of the United States, and I think if that were to increase and become deeper, yeah, you would definitely have problems with that, because you would have a militaristic Germany. You would have a Germany. You would have a German military power in the middle of Europe, and with America becoming more and more isolationist, that means Germany is going to become more and more independent. And they're going to say, oh, we can't trust the Americans anymore. So we need to better our military power. And that's what's been happening since Brexit. Um, and a little bit of that was happening before, but I think it really began to amplify after Brexit. When you have Angela Merkel in 2017 and 2018 saying, I cannot really trust the Americans anymore. We have to do things on our own. And they're talking about this in the context of an EU military power. Who's going to run this EU military power? It's going to be the Germans. So I think that Germany is definitely going back to military independency. But I don't expect you to see eye to eye to me, because people who live in that part of Europe, the Germanic part of Europe, they don't ever really see what I'm saying. Because I mean, if I were living in the Netherlands, I would be of the same mindset that you're in right now, because who the hell wants to think about a reviving Germany? It's a scary thought. It's like asking somebody in Turkey, living in Turkey, hey, do you think that the Ottoman Empire is going to revive again? No, I don't think it's going to happen. Erdogan's an idiot. You always hear this from people who live in the country. You never hear that, but from people who live outside of the country, they have a different opinion of things. They tend to, that is. But if you want to respond to what I just told you, go ahead. The fact is that Germany um, is definitely reviving its military independency. That is a fact. The fact is that Germany has been talking for a very long time about a European military, pan-European military force ran by Germany. Who is going to run it? It's going to be the Germans. The Germans rule Europe. The fact is that the American government itself has admitted that if Germany ever gets the impression that America doesn't care about its security, Germany will pursue nuclear armament. Um, I don't have any evidence that Germany is like, it's gonna go and they're gonna make the swastika a part of the German flag again. I don't have any evidence for that, but I do definitely have evidence of German militarism coming back. And looking at the history of that country, I wouldn't be so enthusiastic about that. Can women cook on the battlefield? I don't know. Can they put like a dehydrated food in a pot? Muslim soldiers thought it as humiliation to surrender to women, so they actually fought harder. Okay, I fast forwarded. I'm going to go back to all your guys' questions, but I want to hear the response from the Dutchman. I am not afraid to face the facts, but I see them as a nation. Well, of course they're a nation. I don't see where the disagreement is on that. Yeah, they're a nation that has had its portion. What do you mean by had its portion? Next big thing is world government. Okay. Do you have any evidence for world government forming anytime soon? I mean, I have more evidence for a revived Germany. I got more evidence for a revived Germany than like a world government forming. There's a world government form. What's your evidence? I mean, if you want to have a little debate, let me know. I'll put a link on the chat and we can have a friendly discussion if you would like, Mr. Egbert. I'll go back to you guys' questions here. It's like, what's your evidence of world government? The UN. That's not evidence. There's no evidence of world government. There's evidence of people becoming less and less closer together. That there is evidence of that. America pulling out of the WHO, America becoming more and more isolationistic, people ignoring the UN for decades. What else can we think of here? I don't see people coming together. Brexit, Britain leaving the European Union, not giving a shit about Europe. That's not world. That's not a sign of world government coming, my friend. That's a sign of people becoming more and more divided. Japan and China still have tensions with each other. Russia and Ukraine still hate each other. Russian troops, thousands of them, are right there on Ukraine. They're right there. In Nagorno Karabakh, Turkey and Armenians fighting each other over a freaking piece of land that's maybe like the size of Delaware. These aren't signs of world government happening anytime soon, my friend. There's no evidence. But yet, what I please, Mr. Egbert, if you want to come on and have a conversation, I'd love to. Please, come on. This is too much for me. This is too much for me, guys. There's plenty of evidence for Germany reviving its military strength. There's plenty of evidence of Germany. How many statements can we get from the German government saying we need to make Germany a significant part of foreign policy again? We need to make Germany a global force again. Germany must be a part of reshaping the world order. There's plenty of stuff. Oh God, QR codes. What do you mean QR codes? So the next big thing is world government. Okay. Theodore Schubach, QR. What's QR codes? Do you read what I wrote? I read what you wrote. You talked about world government coming back or something. The next big thing is world government. Do you want to have a little debate with me or not? If not, I don't care, dude. If you want to do so, let me know, and I can put a link. And we can have a little group discussion if you guys would like, or we could have a little debate. But I just don't see like the next world government. Yeah, you're talking about world government. It doesn't. You didn't mention AI in your other comment. Hold on. Yeah, you said QR codes. Did you read what I wrote? Okay, let's go back to what you wrote here. You said, I'm not afraid to face the facts, but I see them as a nation that has had its portion. Next big thing is world government. Okay. And then I said, I don't see any signs of world government. And then you said, QR codes. Do you read what I wrote? Yeah, I read what you wrote. You wrote world government. You said nothing about codes. And that's fine. Okay, you want to clarify yourself. That's fine. Then you say the next world government is computer ruled. Okay, you can make that point, but okay, hold on. You don't know? Well, in big parts of the world, we have QR code devices. You cannot buy or sell unless you show your QR code. That's not a sign of world government, though. Hold on a second, guys. That's not a sign of world government. That's just some policy that the Netherlands has. Do you know that the EU wants to create its own cloud so that it can compete with Amazon and can compete with the Americans in technology? Like it doesn't matter. Just because we have advancements in technology doesn't mean we're going into like some super world government or something like that. It just means that technology is advancing to the point where we can do things like this. Does it make tyranny easier? Yeah, it does. But it doesn't mean that there's going to be world government because, hey, last I checked, people still hate each other. Okay, everybody's in this business. I know everyone says that. I'm in this business. Who cares, dude? It doesn't mean it doesn't mean we're going to have world government. Whatever. Let's go back to your questions, guys. I just don't see. It's like people are like, I don't believe that Germany is going to go back to military. I don't understand, but I believe there's going to be a world government. It's like, okay, let's try to have a world government with like Nagorno Karabakh Yeah, let's have a world government with Azeris and Armenians still hating each other. Let's have a world government with Ukrainians and Russians hating each other. Let's have a world government where Serbs and Croats are hating each other and Bosnians and Serbs are hating each other. Let's have a world government where Israelis and Palestinians are hating each other. Let's have a world government. You can't have a world government, dude. People are going to hate each other. People are going to use technology against each other. It's just the reality of human life. I've been hearing about world government my whole life, my friend. I've been hearing about world government since I was in the 1990s. Since the Y2K world. This is like white. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Woo! It's like, okay, if you want to have a discussion, let me know. I'll put a link in the little chat room. It's like last week I had a little discussion with that Anthony guy about the Catholic Church. That was a lot of fun. We can do that here if you would like. I don't care. Somebody argue with me about something. Argue with me already. I don't care. Let's go back to y'all's questions. I'm gonna speak with a little Texas drawl here, boys. Let's go to y'all's questions. Let's go to y'all's questions. People be reading Left Behind way too much. World government, guys. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? I don't see Germany doing anything anytime soon, but I see world government, even though people still hate each other. Let's try to have world government as Egypt and Ethiopia are fighting over water. What's the headquarters for this world government going to be in? Where's it going to be in? It's going to be in the city of Neon in Saudi Arabia, everybody. The Kaaba. The Saudis are going to rule us from their iPhones. Okay. Can women cook on the back? Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Your cat is a pussy. I'll see myself out. Please comment on Freemasonic clergy on how am I supposed to know? I know some things about the Maronite Church. I don't know everything about the How am I supposed to know? Oh yes, Father Dublus Atrash Al Walid Ahmed Abdullah Elias. Yes, he's a member of the Masonic Lodge. He goes to the Masonic Lodge in LA. I know the address. Like, how the hell? I'm gonna have to do like a hardcore Google search on this. And I asked you, could you give me some evidence for this? I can't just, oh yeah, I know everything. I know everything. I know this is Ask Me Anything. Doesn't mean I know everything. Come on, guys. It's like saying, do you know about like which American congressman is a member of like the Communist Party? I don't know. You're gonna have to help me out, my friend. Women can provide valuable support and defensive support, but their body is not made. Okay, great. Okay, Night Witchies. Smash that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Okay, here's my policy on this. I never ask people in my videos to hit the subscribe button, and I never will. You will never see me say, "Okay, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, just smash that subscribe and like button. Don't forget to comment below. It's gonna build the algorithm up." The way I look at it is, if people like my content enough, I shouldn't have to tell them to subscribe. I should not have to tell them to like and comment. I leave that up to you. I don't want to have any influence on you guys to do anything that like that. I don't want to push anybody to do something. If you guys like the video, you're going to like and subscribe and you're going to comment. And that's the way I look at things. I think it's kind of annoying. Every video that I watch on YouTube ends with, if you like what you saw, hit that like, smash that like button, subscribe and comment below. Like, you're never going to see me do that. That's just crazy to me. Oh, God. Let's see here. All countries sway history. Take the Texas Revolution. Mexicans think the U.S. sent a stream of illegals to foment a revolution. Texans think the Mexican government was corrupt and Santa Anna was a dictator. The Texans were assholes. Let's be honest with ourselves here. They were Mexican citizens. They claimed to believe in Catholicism. They lied. They were pissed off because Mexico didn't want them to have slaves. I don't really care about the Texas-Mexican war. It just doesn't really interest me at all. It's part of TPTB's agenda to blur the lines of biology and cause chaos. I figured out that out years ago. Okay. I'm going to be there honest with your dad was rejected when he was talking about all this, but he's right. A lot of the things that your dad said are going to come to pass. All right. I agree. Your father needs to open a gaming channel to play Doom Eternal. In World War I, Russia had female battalions. There was one woman who was so good, Russian officers put her in a male. I heard about these female Ruskies who were like sniping Germans. Kudos to them. Just read the Balkanization of Yugoslavia. Germany are the ones behind KLA, or how about how many neo-Nazis are in Germany? Yeah, come on, seriously, guys. Here. Let's go back here a little bit into history. World War I happens. Germany supports Ukraine. World War II happens. Germany supports Ukraine, Albania, Croatia, Bosnia against the Serbs and the Ruskies. Fast forward to the 1990s. Germany backs the KLA, the Croats, and the Bosnians. Fast forward to 2014. Germany's back in Ukraine. German foreign policy has not changed. It's going to back the same little regional groups that it did in the past. I think Schubot Sr. should have his own channel. Okay. I mean, it's up to him, guys. Can you Amazon link your jacket? I bought this jacket years ago from some, I think I got it from like Target or something. If you go to Target, they have jackets like these. What do you say about glorious Romanian vampire warlord? Talmud is worse than the Quran. I agree with you. The Talmud is just crap. It's all schizo. Was Islam somehow influenced by the circumcellions? Just studied the geopolitical view of Germany, then you can understand why. Yeah, I mean, it's just so obvious. Like, why is Germany supporting? Why has Germany been the biggest supporter of Iran in Europe? Why? You would think like Germany is the only country in history that came close to exterminating the Jews, and they're supporting the only open government, the only government that has openly declared its desire to annihilate the Jews. I mean, doesn't that tell you something? It's like this country murdered 6 million Jews in the past. Oh, okay. Well, there's another country that also wants to exterminate the Jews. Oh, damn. Guess which country supports that country? What? The country that killed 6 million Jews. I mean, it's like, come on, man. It's like, let's say you have a daughter, and the daughter comes to you, and she says, Dad, I really, really like this guy. He's such a good guy. And then you say, oh, really? What kind of guy is he? He's a great guy. He's so sweet. Great, great guy. Oh, okay. And then you meet the guy, and he's like, I love your daughter, and I just got out of prison. Oh, prison for what? I murdered like 20 people, but I got out. Don't tell nobody. I won't do it again, I swear. Or yeah, there's this guy. His name is William. He's a convicted pedophile. Got out of prison. I'm thinking about hiring him to babysit my little boy when I go off to work. He's a changed man. You would never do that, would you? But you would do that for a country that has a past of genocide and starting wars. So I love the kind of women on home front who are apron matron, true mama bears who care for household when man is at war, can handle firearms and be firm with the kids. Okay. Using their Israelites, the circumcellions would attack random travelers on the road while shouting Laudate Dei. The object of these random beatings was to provoke the victim to kill them, thereby becoming martyrs. Interesting. Hey, Heather, you are a pre-1960s woman. Not many left today. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear, does the tree make a sound? Oh. The EU isn't going to do crap militarily. If they did, they would all surrender if you merely called them. Dude, come on. That's a huge exaggeration. If you have the militaries of Germany, the Netherlands, maybe France, coming together. I mean, come on. Germany is one of the technological centers of the earth. Those guys definitely have a capacity for military strength. As someone who lives in Germany, the nationalist sentiment is growing and talk about puffing up the military. Yep, I know. I read the news, dude. I read the news every day on this type of stuff. Well, not every day, but mostly every day on this type of stuff. Like, it's real. It's very real. Germany is only the USA's friend because they lost World War II. Exactly. I read a fiction book called The Fatherland, where the Cold War was between the US and Germany. And I played a video game called what's the name of that damn Frankenstein? What's the name of that game where you fight Nazis? Like the Nazis win World War II and you have to fight the Nazis. Dang it, I forgot that name of the game. I forgot the name, but it's a great game. Somebody can list it in the chat. Wolfenstein, that's it. Yeah, great game. Don't you know that the trees can't speak? Chechia is getting screwed yet again. I just have those beliefs and views because I was helped raised by my blue collar great grandma. Paw counts, but he passed before her. Okay. Please study geopolitics, and you can see how Ted and me have many others. I mean, it's not that difficult to understand this, you know? Germans don't have nuclear weapons? No, but they're actually a de facto nuclear country in the sense that they could make nuclear weapons within a matter of months. I'm not afraid to fail. Okay, I already read this. Speaking of Japan, French people are the most Japanophilic people on planet Earth. That's a very interesting statement because I remember there was a Japanese guy who went to France back in, like, I think the 80s, murdered and cannibalized the young French girl. And the French didn't do anything to this Japanese guy and just sent him back to Japan. So I guess you're right. Sick story. If you want to see ultra obsessed weebs, go to France. I did not know that. I thought Frenchies were all like super romantic and they were like experts on wine and bread and they on cheese and they all wear those little circular hats and they listen to this cafe music and they were super philosophical and maybe a little bit nihilistic and poetic. Are you telling me that the Hollywood image of the French person is a lie and that they're all a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons players and they play World of Warcraft? Is that what you're telling me? I like Dutch people, but I just think the country is a bit too liberal. And as a California drug, yeah, they're all on drugs over there, aren't they? The U.S. military is a woke joke these days. Yeah, it's becoming a joke. Hey, out of context, y'all in Romania have anything similar to Zvrankari? Oh, by the way, Mr. Romanian, I have a question for you. Are you familiar with a dish called? I heard this on Resident Evil. What was the name of it? Dang it! What was the name of this soup? Ciorba de legume. Ciorba de legume. Are you familiar with that? Never marry a railroad man. He loves you every now and then. His heart is on his new train. No, don't fall in love with the railroad man. 1960s women is more an exaggeration, as not all boomers were into free love and smoked pot. I know, I've heard this before. People wearing animal costumes. I've heard this is popular in Bulgaria, but in Romania, not sure. Maybe in the countryside. Theodore, revive the server and get to group call on. That would have been nice. Okay. Well, I don't know. I asked this guy if he wants to talk, and he's not saying yes. So I'm not seeing anything here. Okay, I've been here for an hour and a half. I'm gonna get a drink. Okay, guys, hold on. So today's beer is going to be we're going to Ireland today, guys. I got these yesterday. Great beer. It's not like my favorite, but it's very good, I must say. I still think Coors is better, but Guinness has a special place in my heart. One thing I love about Guinness is that it has an almost chocolatey bitter flavor, like bitter chocolate. This has been in the fridge for overnight, very cold. That's good stuff. It's almost caramel flavored. I don't know how they do it, but they do. I don't know what kind of brewing process they have to make that caramel flavor, but it's really impressive how they have that in every single bottle. But I still think that Coors is a better beer. Eric, good for you, man. It's good stuff. Coors beer is really good. People in different countries love to shit on American beer. But every time I see a European bashing American beer, they're always bashing the light beers. And light beers suck. Like by their very nature, they pretty much suck. Like not all of them. Michelob Ultra is okay, but for the most part, they suck. Like Bud Light, Miller Lite, like all these beers suck. Um, because it's light, it's crap. Who wants to drink light? It's like drinking diet soda. It's not that good. But if you drink like a Coors beer, a real Coors beer, or a cold Budweiser, it's actually really good. And I never see these people actually drink those beers. They're always just drinking like, oh, look at this Bud Light. It tastes like piss. Like, well, yeah. I mean, well, how do you know how piss tastes like? That's the question I have for those guys. But I get it. I get it. All right. What else do we got here? How come in every stream I know, and I always know who the guy is going to be by the name. I can look at the name and be like, I've never seen that name before. Oh, yep, yep, there he is. Almost always the case. The compromise: we shall have one world government ruled by Angela Merkel. Yes, guys, she will be the ruler of the world alongside Kamala Harris. And man, this one world government, it's going to have an amazing time just ruling all of Africa. People in Africa are going to get along. People in Mali are going to get along. People in South Africa are going to get along. We're just going to be ruled by one world government, guys. It's going to happen. It's amazing. Azeris and Armenians are going to be brothers because they're going to be ruled by one world government. Turks and Greeks are going to love each other. Greeks and Macedonians are going to love each other. Let's go through the whole list of different ethnic conflicts. Serbs and Bosnians, Serbs and Albanians, Serbs and everyone in the Balkans. They're all going to love each other. Hungarians and Romanians, they're going to love each other, guys. Let's talk about, I don't know, Germans and Dutch people or Danish people. That whole little thing they got with the Schleswig-Holstein tension. Yep, throw that out the window. Poland and Germany over the Kronenberg or Kaliningrad, throw that out the window. It's all going away because we're all going to be under the regime of Apple. Apple's going to rule over the world, guys. And for somehow America could not fully control Iraq, but somehow this one world government is going to control every single African country in the world, and it is going to somehow control all the different conflicts, everything together. It's going to happen, guys. And with all of the boomers who read, what do they read? WorldNet Daily, and they read Breitbart. I mean, they're all going to be okay with it. It's going to be so much fun, guys. So much fun. All the soccer moms who are reading Breitbart, they're going to be under the one world government, guys. And they're going to love it. There will be no Guinness in the world government. There will be no Guinness under the one world government because there will only be one beer, and it's going to be non-alcoholic and gluten-free. And it's going to be made with psyllidoids from soybeans. It's going to be fermented soybeans, guys. Soy beer. That's what we're going to call it. Soy beer. We're all going to be drunk off soy beer. I must say that is a very tasty beer. Coca-Cola Imperium. I only drank 2 or so beers in China. China has some really good beer. Hungarians. If the U.S. Hold on. If the U.S. will rule the world, make sure to give it might be Apple products, and I'll be fine. I mean, America kind of runs the world, and America still has difficulty controlling everything. I mean, listen, a bunch of malnourished Middle Eastern guys forced a bunch of Americans into PTSD. You know what PTSD is? Post-traumatic stress. A bunch of crazy Iraqi guys who aren't even trained made a bunch of American soldiers crazy. I mean, really, think about it. They made them crazy. You have soldiers going back to America. They have. I mean, I feel sorry for them. They have emotional issues, psychological issues, all sorts of things. And this happened in a war with a bunch of Middle Eastern guys who aren't even trained. I mean, the American empire, it's gonna decline, guys. It's gonna happen. Coke, Pepsi, or Coca-Cola. RC Cola. I don't know what RC Cola is. I guess I'll just go with Coke. Worst beer in the world is from China? Really? I have some Chinese beer. And Japanese beer is also really good, too. I mostly drink Kronenberg, which is from Strasbourg. Okay. I really need to taste those Coors. Yeah, I don't know if you can get Coors in Germany or not. If you can, try it out. I only drink ginger beer. Ginger beer is good. Jamaican ginger beer is very good, too. I've tried the Jamaican Verity. Bashing diet beer is like bashing Diet Coke. I don't like light beer. I'm right there with you. American beer is very good. It is like a Budweiser, dude. An ice cold Budweiser. Can't go wrong. Ice cold Coors. Oof. Oof. In a bottle? Amazing. Youngling? An ice cold Youngling? Oh man, delicious. Have you ever had a Sam Adams beer? I have not. I have yet to try Sam Adams, but I will one day give that a try. We have those in Indonesia. Very nice. You know what's funny is that Guinness is probably consumed more in Nigeria than in Ireland. Like I've heard that in Nigeria, the biggest beer is Guinness. I was amazed by that. We do not drink that okra gin garbage anymore. We drink only one thing in Africa. Guinness, guys. I'm drinking Coors. Enjoy it, man. Satan, what's that? Counter-Strike is too hard for me, bro. I've never played Counter-Strike. Never played it. I've been on a Resident Evil binge ever since I started playing Resident Evil 8. I finished Resident Evil 8, which is an amazing video game, by the way. It's a beautiful video game. Just a beautifully done game, but I started playing. So everyone talks about Resident Evil 1. I have never played Resident Evil 1. I've seen gameplay on YouTube. I have never played it. So I got myself a copy of Resident Evil 1 yesterday. I have yet to play it, but I'm going to play it, guys. But I got the Resident Evil HD remastered version because I don't have like a PS1 to play the original one on. Plus, the original one is really too pixely for me, so I wouldn't really enjoy it. Chorba de legume. Okay, so that is a real thing. So Resident Evil 8 wasn't kidding because there's a part in the game where your wife Mia is like, "I made a soup for you, Ethan. Oh, what's in it? It's chorba de legume. Delicious." Chorba de legume. Now, tell me something about chorba de pork. Is that tasty or is that garbage? Tell me, or is that overrated? Resi 1 is Kino. What does that mean? Kino. Satan, bon appetit. Ah, okay. Awesome. Ah, okay. I got you. By the way, you should stop drinking. It's bad for you. Plus, it's oh god, here we go, guys. Here we go. Just like smoking is bad for you, huh? Thoughts on incels? God. Where do I begin? I don't know. They're a bunch of dudes who can't get laid. They want to get laid. They desperately want to get laid, but they can't. Man, when I turned 30, something happened to me where like when I was beginning at the age of 12, I had these raging hormones like every other guy who has ever existed. And I was like, women, 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 women. That's all you think about, right? And you're 13, you're 14, you're 15. Women, 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 women. That's all you think about. So then you look around, and this is in campus, right? In public education, you look. I mean, this happens in private school. You look around, you're in school, and you see all these women, and you want them all, right? You're like Pokemon. You want to catch them all, right? But you can't, right? Because you're a nerd and you're not that popular, and nobody really gives a shit about you. And then what happens? You see all the guys who are violent, bullies, schmucks, assholes, the people who wouldn't mind backstabbing you or stealing something from you. Those students were getting all of the female attention. That's one thing that you noticed, right? I started noticing this at a very young age. At like the age of 12, 13, I began to notice this. So man, all these guys who are just like real schmucks, they're getting all the women. And I never went on the internet and how do I? One day, eventually, I did, but at that time, I wasn't like getting on the internet. I was kind of like figuring this stuff out on my own. Like, wow, okay. And then when I got into high school, I noticed the same thing. Okay, but again, my brain was like women, 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 like a motor. It's like a little motor in a corium filter. So then I got out of high school, right? You got out of high school and you're still women, 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 the motor's still going on, right? It's not ending. And then I remember there was this public pool I used to go to. I stopped going once COVID came, but this pool, I've been going to it for years. I stopped because of COVID. But after like the first year out of high school, or the year after I got out of high school, I went to the pool. And, I was still women. So there was this girl I knew. Her name was Stephanie, right? And Stephanie was the girl that I wanted so badly when I was a junior and senior in high school. I mean, she was. I mean, at that time, she was like a perfect specimen physically. I mean, physically, a absolute perfect specimen. She had just everything that let's just put it this way. She was armed with the ballistic weapons. Okay, let's just put it that way. And I saw her in the pool. And my brain was like, so I approached her and I said, "Hey, I know you from school." And she goes, "Yeah, aren't you Ted?" And I said, "Yeah." So we talked for like a good hour. And then I said, "Hey, you want to go out?" And she said, "Sure." So she gave me her number. And I went home as happy as an Eskimo who just caught a fish in the middle of a snowstorm. So what do? The next day, I called her up. She doesn't pick up the phone. Leave a message. Doesn't answer back. Try to text her. Doesn't respond back. Try to call her again. Doesn't pick up the phone. All you get is a voice message. And then maybe you call. That's all you really got was a voice message. That's it. So you forget about her and eventually you get over it. And years and years later, and by years and years later, I mean maybe like in the year 2018, 2017, I think, whatever happened to good old Stephanie. So I look her up and I find out that Stephanie married some actually not married, she got knocked up by some fat Mexican guy, had a child out of wedlock, got married to this guy, and is extremely overweight now. I'm like, damn. So you start picking up these little behaviors, right? These little characteristics, right? They ignore you. They go with some fat guy, some fat bastard. They get knocked up. They end up overweight themselves. You're like, damn, this whole women thing is freaking overrated. I'll be honest with you guys. It's overrated, guys. Sex, overrated. It's overrated, guys. It lasts for a minute. I don't know. It doesn't last that long. And then it's like, okay, this is it. This is it. You want to go read about the meaning of life after that. You want to go read about you want to read about like philosophy. You want to read about history. You want to read about all the whole thing. It's overrated. It's overrated, guys. It really is overrated. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves here. There was a study that was done by J.P. Morgan recently. By recently, I mean like 2 years ago, which is still recent. And don't worry, I'm going to read y'all's comments when I'm done talking because I'm on a roll here. But there was a study that was done, I want to say 2019, by J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan is a big financial investment institute. And financial entities and investment institutes and establishments, they are very much so interested in the behavioral patterns that go on in America, right? They're interested in the marriage rates. They're interested in the birth rates. They're interested in all these things because all these things dictate how people use their money. And because big corporations and banks and financial institutions and investment firms, because they are all in the business of money, they're definitely interested in how people are going to use their money. How much are they going to spend? How much are they going to invest? All these things. So JP Morgan did a study on the marriage rates, right? Marriage rates amongst American women. And they concluded that by the 2030s, I'm pretty sure it was the 2030s, by the 2030s, over 50% of millennial women in America are going to be single and alone. I literally said the same thing. They're going to be single, not married, perhaps single mothers, but they're not going to be married. And I totally believe this because I already see it. I already see the behavior amongst the girls that I talk to, that I meet sometimes. You already see it. Oh, I live in an apartment by myself. I live in this by myself. I live in that by myself. And when you're 15 years old, a woman is like seeing Aphrodite in the Homer's poetry. You know, you just great Aphrodite, right? You just worship the woman, right? You're 15, and this goes on into your 20s. You worship the woman, right? You worship. You go for anything. I mean, you go for a girl. She's with glasses. She's a nerd. She has no friends. Oh, I could save her, right? It's what a lot of these guys think. I can save her. I kind of had that mentality when I was in high school. Oh, I could save her. I could be like the one that brings her to life, like the song from Evanescence. But then as you get older, 30s, one thing that you notice is that everything begins to turn as a man when you hit your 30s. All of a sudden, women are going after you, and you want nothing to do with them. You're like, okay, I'll see if this will work out. I got better things to do, like play video games. Like I was playing Resident Evil 8, and I'm going through the village. I'm shooting zombies. I'm listening to the beautiful sound score of the video game, and I'm like, damn, this is so much fun than a date. I am not exaggerating when I tell you guys this. There have been times where I'm like, I would schedule, like I would have a date scheduled for like, I'd say Friday night or a Saturday night, and I'd be at home hoping the girl cancels on me. I have literally like I've been in these situations like, man, I hope this girl doesn't call me back. I hope she doesn't call me back. And there she is calling you back, and you're like, fuck. And when you want her to call you, she never calls you. When you want her to talk to you, she never talks to you. But when the day you don't want her to talk to you, she will talk to you. She'll talk to you. She'll call you up. She'll want to talk to you. And then you're on this date, and you're like, okay. Like I remember one time I went on this date with this girl. This was last year, and I went on a date with this Iranian girl that I met, and we went to this restaurant, and this restaurant specialized in craft beers, which was really cool. So I said, okay, give me a beer. So they gave me a beer, drank it down, really good. So this girl's talking and talking and talking. She's talking about bullshit. I don't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, give me a second beer. Second beer comes in. I'm guzzling this beer down. And this girl's like, well, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there like, uh-huh. And then I said, give me a third one. I drink the third one down. And by the third beer, I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, damn, what the hell am I wasting my time here for? And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And then she realizes that I don't give a shit. So I'm like, I think we should go. And we're like, okay. And she never called me back after that. And I think she understood like there was no chemistry at all there. But it's like, man, I don't know. Like women don't understand. Their power is greatly limited. Power is greatly limited. The duration of the window of opportunity that they have, the window of opportunity that they have to utilize their power is basically 2 decades. You have the teen years when their power is super strong. And then you have when the guy's in his 20s, when the power is still very strong. But when that guy hits his 30s, you see he begins to change. And sometimes men hit that earlier. Sometimes men will hit this stage of thinking when they're in their late 20s, 28, 29, 27, maybe, and they really don't give a shit. And, many times I heard, if you don't give a shit, women will come to you. And that's actually 100% true. The thing is that sometimes men will pretend not to give a shit, but they really do. And what happens is that sometimes women can pick that up and they can still utilize their power, right? But when you really don't give a shit, I mean, really, like internally speaking, you talk to a girl and you forget about her the next day. That's when your phone is going to be vibrating like a damn Christmas jingle bell teddy bear. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on incels. I think that, some men are really ugly and they're fat and overweight, and even if they didn't give a shit, nobody would care about them. But if you are in average shape, I don't think you even have to have like a six pack, but if you're in average shape, you go, you do some weekly exercise to keep yourself up, and you have some kind of interest in life, right? Writing, reading, carpentry work, fishing, gardening, it doesn't really matter. If you have some kind of hobby that you do or some kind of passion that you have and you focus a lot of time on that, you will get women. That is a fact. It's like a formula of life. The thing is that, and it's not a trick, it's just a reality. The thing is that once you are super focused on your passion more than you are women, I mean, but by then it's like, are you even gonna get the girl? Are you even gonna you have the girl, she likes you, but are you even gonna accept her? That's up to you. You see? But men ultimately are the ones with the power, not the women. Women have power. They have the power of sort of choosing who they're gonna sleep with, but at the same time, men, okay, let's put it this way. Women have power over men because women are less open about what they want. That's a fact. Women are less open about what they want. Men are more open. So the one who's not open is the one that kind of has this psychological power over the other person, because now all the men are gravitating towards the women, and the women, guess what? Women have options. The one who has the power is the one who has the options. This is not just a fact in relationships, but it's a fact in life in general. The one who has options is the one who has the power. That's just the bottom line. And if a woman has options, she has power. That's why when you see a husband and a wife, and the wife is cheating on the husband, one thing you'll notice is that the wife, she still had options, and she completely betrays her husband and treats him like shit and does all this stuff. And the man is like, oh, so loving her. And I remember, like, it's like the story I told you guys last week, where the guy's wife was cheating on him for some black guy, and she took the dude's house, and then she says, hey, Bill, could you help me rent this room out in the house so I can make some extra money? And he actually remodeled the room for her. Even though she betrayed him, she took this house, he still did all that shit for her. Why? Because he still believed internally that he could still win her back if he could just show her unconditional love. And the problem is that unconditional love only works with people who, oh man, this is like, we're getting deep into human psychology here. But unconditional love, in my opinion, only only fits people who don't hate themselves. If you hate yourself, then you're going to hate being loved unconditionally. Now we're getting into some deep human psychological stuff here, but I don't want to get too deep into this. Um, but now, if a woman has options, then she has the power. So you have all these men who are like, oh, please, I want to have sex with you, I want to date you, please give me attention, give me attention. And what happens? She can now pick and choose who she wants. She may like a guy one moment and not give a shit about him the next moment. She could give him attention one moment and not give him attention one moment. And it's not like she's sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna play with his emotions. I mean, some women do that, but I don't think that is the case most of the time. I think most of the time it's just, well, this other guy came in and I'm going to give him a try. I'm going to go out with him. Does he have any money? Does he have any resources I want? Whatever it is. But what happens is that as the women get older and the men get older, men who maybe they had really bad experiences with women, maybe they just had really bad experiences with women, they become cold. So when they become cold, they lose interest in women, or they just see them as overrated and they don't give a shit about them, or they put their efforts and their passions into something else, into something that they really love, like video games or whatever. And then guess what happens? Because the men aren't chasing the women like they were when they were in their 20s and when they were in their teens. Now the man has the power, because the man just took all the power of the woman and popped it with the needle like a balloon. It's like looking at death and saying, where is thy sting? You completely deflated its power. So, I think that if incels just kind of went to the gym and maybe, they did some kind of weekly exercise. I'm not a big fan of Jordan Peterson, but what he says about incels is true. If they just went to the gym, lost a little bit of weight, got hobbies, and became a little bit more talkative and more, I'm not saying you have to be like the Count of Monte Cristo or anything like that, but if they just became more conversational and they could have a conversation and talk about things that they really love, um, they would have a more friends, and maybe they would have more options. But that's just basics. There's nothing complicated about what I just said. I remember, I years and years ago, back in like 2011, somebody invited me to a little dinner party. So I went to this dinner party and I saw this girl there. She was a Texas beauty pageant. She was a beauty pageant winner for this little region of Texas. I forget which one it was, but she was gorgeous. I mean, she was absolutely gorgeous. And I remember talking to these other people about, like, I'm like, I was in this little dinner party from maybe like 4 p.m. all the way to like 11 p.m. And I'm talking with a group of people, and I'm talking about like politics and theology and church history, and we're just like knocking it off. And this girl ended up really liking me, because I was just like, oh, you talk about all these different things and you're so passionate about it. And I wasn't I wasn't pursuing her the whole time. I would talk to her, but I was talking to all these other people as well. So it's like, once you can kind of understand the dynamics of it all, it's not that complicated. It's just don't give a shit, and I know that's really difficult. Like, just don't give a shit. But if you can truly not give a shit, then that's when you have power. That's just a fact. I'm more interested in the beer now. So let's see y'all's comments. Where was the question about incels? Alpha chats. Co-ranks. Modern women do not know what they want. I don't really care. These incels should learn that they don't need women to make them feel good. Apostle Paul recognizes something about women. Okay, great. I've had ex-girlfriends from 10, 20 years ago hit me up. Why? Because they're desperate. That's why. Brother Augustine was saying the difference of when it happens versus when it's done in the sacrament of marriage. Okay. We're not talking about the sacrament of marriage here. We're talking about just human nature. Once incels become successful, they will stop being exactly, and they'll stop being bitter, and they look like, yeah, I am right, man. I believe it 100%. The price of feminism is crushed expectations and crippling loneliness. I don't care. What the F are you talking about? Bill Gates is still an incel. That's basically teens in general, though. Yeah, I know, but we're talking about the power dynamics that happens in the teenage years. Thoughts on glasses fetish? Is it corny? I don't know. Some women are, I guess, cute in glasses. Women were told they could be men and men. Yeah, I know. I don't think most women believe they're men, though. I think most women just act like women. Do you believe Sam Shamoon is an Assyrian heretic? I don't think so. No. That's why old people are usually so set in their ways. They get mad when the grocery store moves. Yep, and I get mad when Costco doesn't give me boxes. Hey Theo, could you explain to me why is Marshi I Usuke such a banger? Oh man, you actually found that song? That's a hold on. Let's do a little bit of music here. Is this hold on? Are we talking about the same group? Yeah, these guys. These guys are some of the Albanian nationalist music is really freaking good. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah, some of the nationalist music can actually be really good. I've heard music from like communists, I've heard music from far rightists, and some of it is like, damn, like even some of the Scandinavian stuff, like the Scandinavian far right music that I've heard some of it, some of the Ukrainian stuff, I've heard it, and I'm like, damn, these guys know how to make rhythm. Some of it's really impressively done. Playing games calms my psyche down, makes me more sane on grounded. Women, on the other hand, on sometimes not always make me feel worse. Yeah, that's a reality. And the other thing also is that when you play video games, man, there's something about it. Like when I play Resident Evil, I get really into the story. I love the story of Resident Evil. I love the story of Umbrella and the zombies and the village being taken over by a cult, and all these things are really fascinating. And what I love to do after playing a Resident Evil game is to connect it with the other games and bring the lore together, the Resident Evil lore together. Um, and I love to listen to the soundtrack for the Resident Evil games. I especially love the after credit song from Resident Evil 6, which is amazing, especially when he transitions into that second verse and he says, hot, cold as winter, I walk the path all alone. Like such a beautifully done 80s style song. And just putting that together, and you just see like culture and art and horror and intensity and just drama, and it all comes together so beautifully. I see video games as a work of art. Not all games, most games are, I don't think are that great, but like there are games out there like Resident Evil, Far Cry, Metro. These games are works of art. Truly beautiful games. Truly. I had a date once that was more like a family picnic than a date. Yeah. I know. I've been there before. One time there was this one girl, we were supposed to meet at this Greek restaurant. This was back in like 2011, years before I was doing any serious blogging. And she pops up with her sister in the restaurant, and I'm like, who's this? This is my sister. What is she doing here? Oh, she wants to tag along. And the sister, so I mean, they paid for their own shit for the most part, but I think they did. I don't know. I may have paid for them. I don't remember, but I remember the sister was like, I won't go with a guy unless he's got a salary of at least $80,000. Like if he ain't got a good salary, then I have no interest in him whatsoever. And I'm sitting there like, why do I do this to myself? And I was 21 at the time, 21, 22. Do you remain married to your spouse in heaven? I don't think so. The problem is that a lot of girls these days aren't yeah, who cares, dude? They're even if they're virgins, there's something wrong. A lot of them are psychopaths. I'm a trad cat and they're virgins, and they end up like being a part of a cult or something. I don't know. I'm more interested in the beer now. Yeah, still drinking it. coming. You are better off investing in unknown cryptocurrency. A lot of Western guys go to Asia and women see them as walking green cards. Yeah, I know. I would never even bother doing that. You go to like Asia, even some of these white countries like Ukraine. Like I'm not even sure if I would trust those women unless you really get to know one and you really like build a friendship with them. Um, I would never trust just going to one of these countries and just marrying somebody that you meet there. Because then it's like, oh, you American? Oh, you got a big wallet, huh? You got a big car. You got a nice car. You got lots of money. Lots of money. I see. A lot of money. Man has expiration of wine, and women have expiration date of milk. Yep. That there is definitely truth to that. No offense, but us single guys are probably better investing in some shady cryptocurrency that may skyrocket like Shiba Inu. I wish Theodore all the fame and game and wealth from crypto. Oh, thank you, man. I have not invested in crypto. Though I keep meeting people who tell me that I should. Juan, you are a smart man. MAC, you wouldn't have said that if you invested in Shiba last year. I don't know. I have Shiba gets to $1, then I'll be very happy, man. Alexander Dahl, I don't care for such things. A girl I'm talking to now, I suspect, could be doing that to me and picking and choosing. Yep. Don't forget, she always has one on the side. All crypto will... Hold on, what the hell? All crypto will go to zero. Buy gold. I see a 50-year-old women think they are still 25. Yeah, I know. They're living in delusion. To match the pill he swallowed. I stopped chasing women 7 years ago. I am chasing God now. Okay. Gold, oil, and crypto is good. Industries. Heather Green, I noticed that you don't judge anybody, but you love to judge me sometimes, I know. But you don't like to judge anybody else. I don't like judging, but I'll judge Theodore all the time. Don't think I can't emulate that Appalachian Mountain dialect. I can do it perfectly well, better than you can think. Better than you think, I mean. Southern California women are tough, yes, especially if you go to East LA. Hi, Sotiris. Amazing stuff. You read which book? Was it my dad's book? Many blessings. Thank you, Sotiris. Bagionis. What is your opinion on the alleged Assyrian? What? I don't really. This is such an old topic, dude. What do you mean alleged Assyrian? Like we've heard this a million times. There were Assyrians who were involved in heresy. Are all Assyrians involved in heresy? Obviously not. I think they denied the humanity of Christ or something like that. But I don't think there's plenty of Assyrians who are Catholics. There are plenty of Assyrians who are Orthodox. Like, okay, I mean, that's just my opinion on that. How many women are actually on here? Not a lot. I mean, the Assyrian historian. How many historians are actually alive today? Are they even like a significant group? Are they even an influential group of people? I got them to buy $100. How I wish I invested into Bitcoin in 2009 and 2000. I heard a lot of people saying that. This girl had her daughter, her mom, her cousin, and her... Oh, God, what a nightmare. What do you think about vaccine shots? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Skull, Ted. Skull, Alexander. If you're a fan of nationalist music in a qualified sense, I'd recommend you listen to Kletva Kralia Dimitria Zvonemira. I like reading the Balkan language with that accent, that Balkan accent. Klefta Kralia Dimitra Zvonemira. Sounds almost like Portuguese, by none other than the infamous Marko Perkovic Thompson. Oh, dude, that guy wasn't he like a Nazi of some sort? He's like a Ustashi type. If you don't remain married to your spouse in heaven, what's the purpose of marrying them? I guess the Muslims had the same question. Marriage is a mystery? It is? Not much of a mystery. I don't know. They both serving each other for some reason. Sure, Alexander, we can talk afterwards. But I might be here for another hour or so. I don't know how long you're willing to wait. I'm suspecting Amazon will accept okay, I don't know what Shiba Inu is. Ted and Heather act like they're married. We act like we're in a relationship, like we're arguing all the time. We're not all men here, dude. We're not all a bunch of male virgins. Okay, this is not an incel internet community. Never talked to Heather, and I don't know Heather, but I'd like to see another conversation video. Maybe we can do like another little conversation, but it'll be more friendly. Apparently, the Assyrian Church of the East is Nestorian. I love Assyrians. Okay, Nestorianism is a heresy. I don't think most Assyrians are Nestorian, though. I think most of them are. Okay, let's just bite this in the butt already. Hold on. Let's go to screen share. Share screen. Okay. I was looking at Chorba de Legum. Most Assyrians are what religion? Most of them are Christian, mostly adhering to the East and West Syriac liturgical rites of Christianity. Okay. So they're not Nestorians then. They're either Roman Catholic or they're Eastern Orthodox. So there you go. There's your answer. They're an insignificant group. What date was not a complete nightmare? I went out with this one liberal chick who was like a big environmentalist. She was actually pretty interesting to talk to. How about a Swedish accent, Theo? Just like the guys on ABB and ABBA? I don't know. Shiba Inu is a cryptocurrency coin. Yeah. Is this stream a sausage party? I don't know. Yo. It says, how come you don't like the Wall Street? Hold on 1 second, guys. My cat wants to go out. Hold on a second. All right, sweetheart, come on. Yeah, I'm back now. In heaven, we're supposed to be married to Christ. The church is called the brides of Christ. Am I mistaken? No, nine. You're not mistaken, my friend. He uses the phrase "for home" ready in some of his songs, and when playing live, which was the greeting used by the Vistashi, but has its roots in a pre-World War II opera that sings about Nicolas Subrek Zrinski. Oh, my friend, Mr. Chopo, my Croatian ally. Do not understand also that the Hitler salute also comes from the Roman Empire. It doesn't make much of a difference. I don't see the Croats fighting the Turks anytime soon, although they will not mind killing a few Serbs if they had the chance, yeah? Isn't that true, Mr. Chopo? Most Syrians are Syriac Christians and Maronites are Lebanese. Because both Catholics and an Orthodox Church say that. Okay. Can you do a Norwegian accent for us, Theo? Oh, gosh. It's basically a German accent with a little bit more twang, isn't it? Can you do a Norwegian accent for us, Theo? I don't know. Maybe Jehovah's Witnesses are the new Nestorians. I'm not entirely sure. No, I'm actually, but what people don't really understand is that I'm actually from Norway. I actually come from a place called Budha. Not from Oslo. No, I'm not from Oslo. Not at all. No, not at all. But I do love to go to America once in a while, and I like to shoot the guns on the. Theo sounds like a strict Waffen SS officer. We're not all supposed to know or figure out everything about the God. We're only to focus on what's been revealed to us, sir. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That is very true, Juan. Do the Yiddish accent? I don't know. What is a Yiddish accent? What's a Yiddish accent? I can do the Jewish accent very, very well. Just give me a few shekels and I can do it for you. But no problem whatsoever. Just throw me a bone here, okay? Do the Japanese accent? Let me try to do a Japanese one, okay? If you have the time, Ted, do search on Nakam Jewish Avengers on YouTube. It is interesting, trust me. Yeah, I'm from Japan. In Japan, there are not a lot of Catholic priests living there, but we do have some Shinto priests. Yeah, but yeah, I'll try. I don't know. Japanese. It's almost like a European accent when they talk. Catholics have recently, 20 years ago, have stated the Assyrian Church of the East is an historian. I know this is an issue that's been it's gone. Like, oh my god, freaking cell phone starts talking to me. Okay, Japanese accent is good. Can I do Sean Connery? I cannot do a Scottish accent. Very difficult. Scottish accent and Australian accent. I would say these two accents are very difficult to do. Can you do Clint Eastwood? Clint Eastwood's a little bit difficult. I don't know. Can I do Clint Eastwood? I don't know. These kids over here are stealing my cars. I don't know. What about the Irish accent? Irish accent's difficult because the Irish accent is actually closer. The Irish accent is actually much closer um, to the American accent than the English accent, and it's almost like an American accent, but you have like a slight roll with the R's. You gotta have a slight roll with the R's, like here. But I would say the Irish accent is closer. Out of all the UK accents, the Irish is the closest one to the American. And when I went to Canada, the Canadian dialect is even closer to the Irish one than the American one. Anyway, y'all got some more questions for me or what? Because I don't know really what to talk about. What happened to our Dutch friend? Did he went away? Russian accent. I don't really know how to do Russian accent, but I try here, you know. But just drink lots and lots of vodka, you know, lots of vodka, maybe a little bit of cheese with it, maybe some bread. I don't know. Theodore Dide heard that Saudi government has started teaching Hindu religious text history in their schools. What are your thoughts? I'm willing to bet that whatever they're teaching, they're just teaching it as a teaching. They're not actually teaching Hinduism. Do a Kiwi accent? If I can't do an Australian accent, what makes you think I can do a Kiwi accent? It's basically the same thing. Are you watching the Football World Cup playoffs? No, mate. I'm talking to a bunch of guys on the internet right now. If you had to move to somewhere out of us, where would you live? Where would you live outside of the US? Probably somewhere in Eastern Europe. I'm thinking like Belarus. Belarus looks pretty cool. Doing cooking prep and about to cook over a wood fire? Are you outside in a campground somewhere? What are your thoughts on Christian disunity, especially in the early church schisms? All right, mate, let's talk a little bit about church history. So, the church in the beginning was actually quite unified, even though you had little cults and schisms breaking up. But, mate, most of the time, the church remained very unified because people were closer to the times of the apostles, mate. But mate, after the Protestant Revelation, the shit really hit the fan after that, mate, and no one's really unified at all. But even before that, there were a lot of disunity amongst Catholics as well. And today you have the Catholic Church that's quite divided between the trads and the Novus Ordo type Catholics. So I hope that answers your question, mate. Do you speak Arabic? No, I do not. What is your best memories from high school? Is it terrible like the rest of us? It was pretty terrible. I hated high school. Best memory from high school, I would say, was hanging out with my friends after school. We would listen to music and just talk for hours. There was one time that I went to the theater by myself, and I took the bus to the theater, saw a movie, and walked out of the movie. And there were a bunch of kids from school there, and there were some seniors there. And they said, "Hey Ted, you want to go hang out with us?" So what are we gonna do? And he said, "I don't know. We're just gonna drive around." And I said, "Sure." So these guys drove. I went into these guys' car. There were two girls in there, and we just drove around playing music super super loud. And we drove up this cliff where there was a restaurant, and one of the boys in the car, his father owned the restaurant, and we just literally ate for free for like 2 hours. We were there until 1 in the morning. It was crazy fun. How many countries have you visited? Three. I went to Canada, um, Italy, four actually: Mexico, Canada, Italy, and Spain. When you debated Martin Sellner, I thought you were debating Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I know. They're both Austrian. Their accents are the same. Oh, you have a fire pit. That's very cool. Theodore moving to live as a hermit in an abandoned train station in Kukurichi, the haunted train station. Have you tried some Indian dishes in your life? Yes, I have. Some of these Indian dishes I've made myself. I made what's that dish in India where they take like mustard greens and mix it together? I tried that. Um, tried some garbanzo bean curry. Um, I went to an Indian restaurant years ago and I tried some of the stuff there. It wasn't very good though, but the restaurant wasn't very good. But my favorite Indian dish is nihari, and you can say it's Pakistani, but it's all really Indian to me. I didn't have bad high school memories. As many as my peers were straight laced and had good work ethic. Many I knew went in there. Oh, that's good. Thoughts on Olive Garden? I think Olive Garden is actually really tasty. I don't really think it exists anymore because of COVID, but I thought that it was actually quite good. I love their deal. They had great deals for people: breadsticks and salad, all you can eat, and soup. Delicious. Some of the pasta there was actually really good. I don't think Olive Garden is as bad. I think the people who say that it's so bad, I think they really just are like food snobs, like Anthony Bourdain. That's what I think sometimes. I think restaurants like Burger King, McDonald's, I think these restaurants are actually not as bad as people think they are. They're actually, some of this stuff is really tasty. Pronounced Sukrichi, not Kukrichi. Okay, I got it. Sukrichi. Kerala food is worse Indian food because made everything by coconut. That sounds good, actually. Coconut milk is very good with curry. St. Nicholas uppercuts punch that Aryan guy are one of the most awesome moments in church history. I agree. Olive Garden isn't that bad, dude. They have a good like they have good sauces. I don't know what you're I don't know. I get cravings for McDonald's. I do too, man. Some of this stuff's really good. I wouldn't order the chicken at Olive Garden. I focus on the pasta isn't bad. They got like the three cheese thing. It isn't bad at all, guys. You know. But yeah. I wanted to share with you guys another marriage horror story. I forgot which one it was though. Dang it, I don't remember what it was. I know. Oh god, this is crazy. Yeah, I've just yeah. Do you have a particular Oriental country cuisine that you prefer? Yeah, Chinese. I think Chinese food is excellent. Sichuan peppercorn chili oil is delicious. It's Pakistani dish nahari, but the fact is that they made all day dish as the word nihar means early morning, as was basically dish for the truck drivers for gaining heavy energy. Oh, I see. It's very tasty stuff. Thoughts on people who are the jack of all trades? I guess they're a jack of all trades and a master of none, and they try to make a living being a jack of all trades. And some of them are successful, some of them are okay. They do what they need to do to get by and earn a living. A marriage horror story. Oh man, I had one for you guys, and I forgot. I need to write it down. What was it? I forgot what it was. Um, One thing I want to talk to you guys about also is like how people who protect the Catholic Church by all by for anything, right? Those people represent everything wrong with the Catholic Church. I remember we were in Italy. We were driving up this road in Emilia Romagna, 9:30 at night, dark outside. All you can see is the moonlight, the light from the vehicle, and the grasses on the sides of the road waving to the movement of the winds. And driving the car was this monk who was clearly homosexual. And my dad asked this guy a very simple question. If you see a woman getting raped, what would you do? And this guy says, well, first, I will call the policia. And then I will get on my knees and I will pray. And I'm in the back of the car and I'm like, dude, you gave the wrong answer. And my dad says, the monk's name was Christian. My dad says, Christian, you are everything wrong with the Catholic Church. And it was so funny. I was laughing my ass off in the back. But surely it does make sense. They are everything wrong with the Catholic Church. If I say, "Hey, listen, this priest is a pedophile, predator, psychopath who worships Satan, and he's got a giant pentagram," you would have people saying, "Just pray for his soul. Just pray for it. Just pray for his soul. That's all you got to do." That restaurant sounds really good, Sean. McDonald's is very bad for you. McDonald's is bad for you. It really is. That stuff is not good for you. It's not like the meat is bad for you, but it's the stuff that they put in the meat. It's the stuff that they put inside of it that's just really terrible for you, man. They put all sorts of like chemicals in it. It's not good for you at all. Olive oil is by far the cooking fat of all cooking fats. Like Parmigiano Reggiano is the cheese of all cheese, guys. It's undeniable. The supreme cheese of the world is Parmigiano Reggiano. Or you could look Irish cheese is also very good. Goat cheese is excellent. But then you have Pecorino Romano, which is a great cheese. Feta cheese is excellent. Spanish Machengo cheese is very good. Um, yeah, people need to wake up and realize that you have to take action. You can't just, yeah, I know. It tastes like shit. It doesn't taste that bad. Thank you, Anil, for that. Italian cheese are my favorite. Italian cheese is excellent. My great grandparents and the Amish use lard in their foods. Heather, does your family cook collard greens? I'm asking because I grow a lot of collard greens. Well, I got you a marriage horror story. One of my cousins recently got a divorce because his wife cheats with another woman. Damn. Wife's a lesbian. I remember when I was growing up in the Baptist church in the 1990s, there was a guy who was seen on the I shouldn't laugh at this, but there was a guy on one of the church benches crying on the bench because he found out that his wife was sleeping with some other guy. This was in the Baptist church. Crazy. Do you like collard greens, Heather? Tan are the chemicals responsible for the dry mouthfeel from dry wines. If you want to have your mouth feel as dry as the desert, eat an unripened persimmon. Oh yeah, unripened persimmons, definitely. I don't like dry wine though. People make a big deal about it. I don't. Yeah, I'm not too big about it. I like sweet wine. I like sangria. Sangria is very good. I love sweet wine. I don't like wine that tastes like vinegar. It's disgusting. Which reminds me, I actually have a persimmon tree in the backyard. And I need to harvest all the fruit off of it. There's not a lot of fruit. It's still a young tree, but I need to harvest all that fruit out. I don't like dry wines either. I prefer sweet. Yeah, I don't know what the big deal about dry wine is. Like, I like all my wine dry. Like, if you like drinking vinegar, fine, but that shit tastes like vinegar. It's disgusting. If you had to live in the Middle East, which country would it be? Israel. The Jewish side, not the Muslim side. 2 buck burgers from an Albanian grill stand where the owner somehow has his halal certificate and one of those naked chick calendars. You mean that's not a meme? I like white wine spritzers. Yeah, that sounds good. That's a better idea. I think a dry wine goes better with steak than it does as a beverage. It just tastes like garbage. Like, beer tastes really good. I like the taste of beer, but the taste of wine is garbage. I don't like tequila. I don't like vodka. I don't like brandy or Black Label or anything like that. I like beer. Beer is very good, and sweet wines. Is water wet? Of course. Do you like eating dates? Absolutely. Have you tried Iranian dates? No, I have not. Make your own Big Macs. It's easy. Just make the sauce yourself. Use Pepper Ridge Farm buns and one of the bottoms of the middle. Not a meme. Have you ever heard of this town in Serbia where it's literally only men? Like, all the women have died or they left to go to university. There's like 4 dudes living in the whole town, and they're all looking at porn because they're so horny. I hate alcohol because it's bitter, but an occasional sweet wine with cheese and steak, I'm good. Okay. Vodka and Black Label, dude, they're too bitter. I don't know. There's a not bitter, but there's a weird flavor that they have. Never got too crazy about it. I tried vodka, tequila. It's okay. It's just it gives you a headache. Just kidding. Please don't war crime me. A toast to you. Toast to you, sir. What are you cooking, Dennis? By the way, what are you cooking there? Oh, it's good. Vodka literally smells like rubbing alcohol. 100% true. 100% true. Ginger ale and Crown Royal apple. Somebody told me that I should make a mixture between Coca-Cola and Crown. Like, there's a hard alcohol called Crown, and you mix it with Coca-Cola. And somebody said that's really good. Crown and Coke, they call the combination. You could wash your hands with vodka easily. You could probably kill coronavirus with vodka. I read this. I read online today. Alcohol causes cancer. You know what I think? I think that if you go on Google and you type in something causes cancer, you'll find it. Everything causes cancer. Let's let's look it up. Let's give me something to search and I'll see if it causes cancer. Let's see. Soap causes cancer. Long-term exposure to triclosan, an ingredient found in soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, and many other household items, may cause cancer. What else causes cancer? Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. Light bulbs cause cancer. Last month, researchers from the State University of New York at Stony Brook showed in a paper that any tiny defects in the bulbs can let through UV light that can damage skin cells and lead to, you guessed it, cancer. Let's see here. Give me something to search, and I'll see if it causes cancer, everybody. Yeah, they already said shampoo causes cancer. Give me something that's physical, not an ideology. Give me something. Lawnmowers cause cancer. Give me something, guys. Everything causes cancer. Vax exams spread to other areas, so even cancer causes cancer. We have an 80% rakia over here, and it may be used for anything from washing dishes, social occasions, getting drunk, causing blindness, and perhaps also curing blindness, causing cancer, and also curing cancer. Sex causes cancer. Let's search this one, guys. Sex. This is becoming a meme. Hold on. Sex causes cancer. Let's look this up, guys. Human papillomavirus, which increases the risk of cancers. Oh, that's an STD. Can sex affect your risk of causing cancer? Everybody's saying that oral sex can cause cancer. That may be true. But can sex cause cancer? Cervical cancer. Wait, what? A high number of lifetime sexual partners raises cancer risk. Well, that's true. Let's see here. People who play around with sex tend to have a higher risk of cancer. So maybe too much sex with different partners can cause cancer. Let's see here. Rock and roll. Can music cause cancer? Music cause. Hold on. No, I can't see anything here about music causing cancer. Let's see. Rock music. Does rock music cause cancer? No, I'm not seeing anything about that. Give me something physical. Come on. Serbian alternative rock causes cancer. Water causes cancer. Water causes cancer, guys. What causes cancer? Study says carcinogens in drinking water linked to cancer. Drinking water and cancer, guys. Even safe tap water can have cancer causing contamination. You're going to get cancer, guys. We're all going to die of cancer. Can airplanes cause cancer? Let's find out. Traveling by plane is one of the safest ways to travel and is unlikely to affect your risk of cancer. Oh, no. Airplanes gets a pass, boys. I remember when I was in Rome, before I went to Rome, somebody told me, well, there's a lot of cancer in Rome, high cancer rate in Rome. And they said that some people think it's the big Vatican radio station causing all the cancer cases, which is probably bullshit, but that's what some people were saying. Does the iPhone cause cancer? Probably does. Does the iPhones causes cancer? Probably. iPhones cause cancer? There's no convincing evidence that cell phones increase the risk of cancer. So, cell phones get a pass, boys. Don't have to worry about that. Just don't smoke. The sun causes cancers. Can video games cause cancer? Let's look this up, guys. Video games cause cancer. Do video games cause cancer? Yep, they cause cancer according to this website. Hold on. Let's do the screen sharing thing. This is too much fun. Hold on. Let's share the screen. Share screen. Here we go. Here we go. Do video games cause cancer? In March of 2009, the Center for Disease Control came to the conclusion that video games cause cancer. So, gamers, you're all going to die from cancer. We're all going to get cancer. We're all screwed. Because I know that everybody on this damn chat plays video games. So, we're all screwed, guys. We're all getting cancer. Too much League of Legends, Resident Evil, maybe too much Dark Souls or whatever. We're all going to die from cancer, guys. That's it. What else causes cancer? So gamers, you're screwed. You're flying on airplanes or you're holding the cell phones, you're fine. Let's see here. G5 towers. Oh, come on. Let's not get into conspiracy garbage, please. I don't want to hear about G5. I don't give a shit about this. But let's do it, guys. Come on. Does the G5 towers cause 5G? Yep. Also causes cancer. No, hold on. New York Times, the 5G health hazard that isn't. So according to New York Times, 5G towers don't cause cancer. Anything else? Do the Theo live streams cause cancer? They probably do. I mean, video games cause cancer. This live stream is probably giving you cancer right now. What if I'm gaming on my cell phone while flying on a plane? Does that cause cancer? If you're having sex at the same time, you may not get cancer. I don't know. Maybe if you're smoking, you'll get cancer. Can Alex Jones cause cancer? Probably. Give me something physical, guys. Don't give me Alex Jones. Microplastics. I mean, you're giving me something that obviously causes cancer. Like, we know that something with plastic in it probably causes cancer. Microplastics cause cancer. Let's hear it again, guys. Yup, they can cause cancer. There you go. Answers your question. Microplastics. Does anal sex cause cancer? I'm not Googling that. Does Olive Garden cause cancer? That's the real question. What causes cancer, boys? Come on. Does chemotherapy? Come on, dude. You're giving me something that's serious. I don't. Chemotherapy. Does it cause cancer? Yep. Some kinds of cancer are linked to chemotherapies. Oh, causes cancer, guys. Anything else? Plants or nuts? Does that cause cancer? It is not clear if the acrylamide affect cancer risk in people. Oh, it looks like actually you might fight against cancer. It says here, my computer is retarded. Walnuts, pecans, and peanuts come out as the clear winner, causing a dramatic drop in cancer. So eat away. Eat away at those plants or nuts. How about salt? Does salt cause cancer? Man, if salt causes cancer, we're all screwed because we love the taste of salt, guys. Especially, hold on. Yup. Increases the risk of cancer. Yup. Don't eat any more salt, boys. That's it. Salt causes cancer. We have to eat a bland diet for the rest of our lives. The cure to cancer causes cancer. Reducing odds by having a proper diet, reducing environmental exposures for certain substances, clean drinking water. Well, I just read that water causes cancer, so does Sid Roth cause cancer? Does olive oil cure cancer? I've actually heard that olive oil is really good at preventing cancer. That's what I've heard. The chat history is pure gold. How about oxygen? Let's look that one up, guys. Does oxygen cause cancer? Oh, the observed association does not prove that oxygen causes lung cancer. So breathe away. You can breathe. According to the CDC, you can breathe. Does the Serbian Voivod Vujuslav, I don't know how to say this. How do you spell that? Serbian Voivod. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go back and forth on this one. Voivod. How do you spell this? This this language? Vajislav. What the hell is this even? Seselj. Seselj. What is this? Like some crazy Serbian dancing? Oh, Chetniks. Those guys probably cause cancer. Are you referring to Chetniks? Is that what you're referring to? The field when all the people who got cancer had oxygen in their system. People living in colder weather have higher risk of getting cancer. Does cold weather cause cancer? Let's find out. I don't know. Australia has a super high cancer rate, and they don't live in cold areas. Australia is pretty warm, I think, right? Cold weather cause cancer. We're higher in very cold regions. So cold weather causes cancer, which means everybody in Alaska and Russia are going to get cancer. Does anime cause cancer? Let's look that up. Anime causes cancer. There's no serious studies on this, so I can't answer that for you guys. That is pending. I mean, Australia has a very. I think if you look at the countries that have the highest risk rate of cancer, America, Germany, Hungary, Australia, New Zealand, these are all very big cancer countries. One thing they all have in common is that they love to eat meat. So maybe meat causes cancer. Does Ivan Pinar's white powder cause cancer? I don't know what that even is, dude. Does Ivan Pinar's? Hold on. Who the hell is this? Who the hell is this guy? He looks like a psychopath. He looks weird. Who is this guy? Now I'm interested. Freaking Wikipedia. I can't enter Wikipedia. It's insane. Let's go to the catched. Croatian politician and activist, founded the Alliance for Change Party. Croatian parliament. Are these guys like far right lunatics? Or are they big liberals? What are they? What's their beliefs? Criticism of the Catholic Church. This guy has a very Protestant way of thinking. Pernar spoke to the Croatian parliament against the ratification of Montenegro's accession to NATO, reading a letter written by Montenegro. Wait, what? Against the ratification. Oh, he doesn't want Montenegro to become part of NATO? Why not? Israel was responsible for ethnic cleansing. Oh, so he's anti-Israel. Oh, so he's pro-homosexual, anti-NATO. Sounds like cancer to me, so I'm gonna stop there. Just Justin Trudeau caused cancer. Are we really gonna get into this right-wing meme? I'm not even gonna answer that one. Come on. Does Justin Trudeau cause cancer, mate? Does it cause cancer? Because Justin Trudeau is just the most evilest, destructive, demonic, tyrannical politician to have ever existed on the face of the earth. We all know this, guys. Trudeau is just evil. He's so evil, that guy. So evil that Trump just walked all over him. Let's go right into the right wing memeology. Let's get into right wing memeology here and just attack Justin Trudeau. He's weirder than he looks like a psychopath. Looks weird, psychopath. Yeah, pretty much, man. I do judge a book by its cover. If arsenic was used in the wood, then yes. Does mahogany wood cause cancer? That's something I can look up because it's actually physical. But this guy, I don't think this guy causes cancer. He may cause a cancer, but a different type of cancer that we've never really heard of before. Let's look up mahogany wood. Okay, hold on. Does mahogany wood cause cancer? Let's look this up, guys. Give me something physical. Don't give me a meme like Trudeau garbage. Who gives a shit about Trudeau? Trudeau will be forgotten in 10 years. We don't give a shit about this guy. Cause cancer. Yeah, looks like mahogany, beech, walnut, birch, and elm have been suspected to cause nasal cancer. So, you got a mahogany wood table, you better chuck it out because it's going to kill you. Montenegro became part of NATO in 2017. Does Montenegro cause cancer? Hold on, guys. Montenegro, NATO. Yep, 29th member of NATO in 2017. You are correct. Montenegro, cancer. Hold on. Cancer rate. According to the latest WHO published data published in 2018, breast cancer, Montenegro reached 100 or 1.68 of total deaths. The age-adjusted death rate is 19.60 per 100,000. Okay, but hold on. Hold on a second here. Hold on. So Montenegro, the number one cause of this website looks so shady. Oh my god, it looks like something that popped up in the early 2000s. So the number one cause of death in Montenegro is coronary heart disease. So they're eating too much chivapi over there. That's for certain. Stroke is number 2. Number 3 is lung cancer. Probably smoking too much over there. Who knows? Drinking vodka and smoking all day. Hey, Yuri, how you doing? Those sort of Yugoslav bastards came to my shop yesterday asking me if I had Czechoslovakian beer. I told them, get the hell out of my shop, damn it. All right. Number 4 is Alzheimer's. Number 5 is breast cancer. So cancer isn't the biggest thing in Montenegro. So what's their secret? And I'm going to get Montenegro is a beautiful country, by the way. Have you seen Montenegro? It is a beautiful country. Like all the rich Russians go there for vacation. Let's look at the nature of Montenegro. Hold on. I've heard they have lots of vineyards there too. Look at this beautiful country. I mean, Italy's overrated. Let's talk about Montenegro. No one talks about Montenegro. Beautiful country, guys. Look at that. Can't beat that. Look at that. Beautiful country, guys. So what else causes cancer? What can be said about Black Plague and its political ramifications? Yes, let's get into a very complicated medieval history here, or a very complicated section of Renaissance history. Let's talk about that in the middle of a chat in which we were talking about what causes cancer. Way to change the subject, Robbie. Um, yeah, a lot of people died in the Black Plague, and it changed everything. Divided people more, and made the Catholic priests a little bit more snobby because there were so many priests who died. The rest of the priests said, "Hey, you better pay us some more money because we ain't cheap, boy. Because there's less of us, and you need us." So a lot of people started hating the Catholic Church after that, and I would say that the Black Plague did have some kind of say so in the Protestant Revolution. They are lunatics. They have past left or right. Ivan Pernar has ascended the realms we couldn't even imagine. Now, apparently, he quit politics and is working in a fast food or something. Very interesting. How the mighty have fallen. The Bernard dude was literally dragged out of Parliament because he was too acoustic. Does marijuana cause cancer? That I believe so. Yes. Let's look into this, guys. But because like marijuana is the new trend, people are going to be like, it actually doesn't. It actually fights cancer, guys. Marijuana cause cancer, huh? Notice there's no immediate answer after you type it in. I love this. Whether smoking marijuana causes lung cancer or cigarette smoking does, remains an open question. Oh, because they don't want to talk about it, huh? Research has shown that smoking marijuana can potentially have harmful effects on your lungs. Yeah, it does cause cancer. It probably has some kind of effect. I don't think it's healthy for your lungs. Yep. If you have any wooden tables, throw it out because it's going to cause you cancer. Replace it all with plastic. But then you find out that plastic causes cancer. So you got to throw that all out as well. So then what do? Maybe you just get some Formica furniture. Maybe you get some furniture that's made from porcelain. I don't know. Does Freon cause cancer? Does Freon cause cancer? Let's find out. Fortunately, Freon does not have serious long-term health consequences. It is not a carcinogen. So, yep, Freon away, guys. Freon does not cause cancer. It looks like a Ninja Turtles page. It looks like something from the dark web. Also, there is a stereotype that Montenegrins are lazy and sleep all day. I've heard non-Montenegrins are actually very tough people. I predict that the leading cause of death will be suicide. Very possible, especially amongst women. It was used in many furniture in 60s until 1990s. It's older stuff they need to be wary about. Can having a life cause cancer? Probably, guys. Stop breathing. Their secret is that they literally sleep all day and don't do anything. That is the secret to life, my friends. Do not work. Stop moving around. I've met people in my life who literally can't stand still. I've known people like this. Like they make enough money and they're like, tomorrow I'm going to go bungee jumping. Tomorrow I'm going to go jump off an airplane. Why the hell would you want to jump off an airplane? That is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. One of the dumbest, if not the dumbest thing that I've ever heard people doing as a hobby is air gliding. They jump off a plane and they pull the parachute. That is the if you're in the military, I'm in the military. Okay, I'm not talking about people in the military. I'm talking about people who do this as a hobby. To me, I think it is completely retarded. You're jumping off an airplane. Like, give me a break. It's so ridiculous, such a ridiculous waste of time, money, and you could end up dying in the process. Like, it is just so freaking stupid. They can't stand still. You got guys who are like, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go. It's like, can you relax? I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to the gym. Just relax. Just work out at home. I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to the gym. They're crazy. I'm gonna jump off an airplane. Oh, I'm gonna go bungee jumping. Ted, you haven't seen Hunza and Gilgit region in North Pakistan? Just Google it. Okay. What's it called? Hunza region of Pakistan. Does Hunza cause cancer? Hunza Valley. Oh. We'll look at the cancer rate at Hunza afterwards, but let's just take a look at this. Oh, wow. That is a sight to behold. Look at that, guys. That is a sight to behold right there. Look at that beauty. Now, hold on. Is this an Aryan queen that I spot? That's an Aryan princess right there. Incels. Go to Pakistan. Go find myself a Paki waifu. Go get myself an Aryan bride, boys. Go down to Pakistan. They don't reject men over there. Nope, they don't play games. No psychological games from women in Pakistan because, it's Pakistan, guys. It's not America. Hunza Valley. Let's look at the cancer rate of Hunza. Looks like they have very low cancer rates, according to this study here. They have low cancer rates. What does it say here? Cancer. Can I search? I don't know. It says here, Hunza Valley in Pakistan is the place usually referred to by proponents of this myth, but the people of Hunza are not cancer free. Earlier reports of the absence of cancer cannot be verified. The absence of it, they probably have low rates of cancer, though, right? Mm, yeah, who knows? Does beer cause cancer? I looked this up. They say that it actually can. So, sorry, beer drinkers. Does fragrances cause cancer? Let's look this up. Perfume. Look up cologne. Cologne cause cancer. There is no evidence associating the use of fragrance products with an increased risk of cancer. So, fragrance away, boys. Can iron cause cancer? Does iron cause cancer? Iron is a carcinogenic because of this catalytic effect. Yep. Yep. Too much iron can cause cancer. And that is how Theo decided to become an oncologist. What the hell? Oncologist. I'm sorry. What's an oncologist? I don't even know what this is. Oncology. Oh, cancer. Okay. Can magnets cause cancer? Let's look this up. Studies have examined associations of these cancers with living near power lines with magnetic fields in the home. So, yeah, no consistent evidence for an association between any source of non-ionizing EMF can. Okay, so magnet away, guys. Do books cause cancer? I don't know. Let's look into this. Can books cause cancer? Only if you're reading it from an iPad. So if you're reading like paper books, looks like you're good. Let's see here. Too much inflammation in the body. That's what I read. Too much inflammation. That's why they say it's good to eat anti-inflammation foods like brassicas, kales. Isn't there a hold on? I can eat my freshest magnet. Isn't there a dish in the Balkans with lots and lots of kale? Hold on a second. Balkan food. Isn't there a dish that has like meat and sausage? Hold on. Balkan food. Dang it. What is up with this computer? Let's go to the cached. Balkan food. 28 traditional Balkan dishes you need to try. My Balkan people, confirm to me if this article is bullshit or not. Let's see here. Blitva is the same name for a Swiss chard, a dark leafy green similar to spinach and kale, and it is served with boiled potatoes and lashings of garlic, oil, and butter, topped with freshly ground black pepper. Oh, that sounds good. Blitva is traditionally a peasant food, but these days it is usually served as a side dish. Is this bullshit or not? Confirm it to me, Mr. Chopo. Does cheese cause cancer? I'll have to look that one up. Blitva is traditionally a peasant food, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, let's look this up. Blitva. Blitva. Okay, so it is real. So it's not bullshit. Okay. Let's look up Blitva. Song always pops up. Blitva. Oh, that looks good. Blitva se krumpirom recept. Hold on. I gotta system preferences. Internal speakers. The music is playing. I don't care about the music. Potatoes, okay. Swiss chard, okay. Chop it up. Lots of garlic, okay. Leaves. Olive oil, very healthy. Cook the stems, okay. The leaves, okay. Potatoes, that sounds good. What is that, mustard? I don't know what that is. Oh, nutmeg. Okay, little nutmeg. Seasoning mix. It's like MSG or something. Oh, that looks good. It's an easy way to eat your greens. That looks really tasty. Mmm. It's good peasant food. But there was another dish. Hold on. Isn't there a Balkan dish? I think this is it here. Oh, Croatia. So Chopo, this is your neck of the woods here, guys. Konavle, green manestre, comes from Konavle, Dubrovnik, and it presents a stew made of meat, cabbages, potatoes, and kale. Sounds like German food. Content is protected. I cannot copy and paste on this website. Damn, I gotta pay money, I guess. Hold on. Let me remember the spelling. Konavle. Yeah, blitva is like a stereotypical healthy food that your mom forces you to eat as a kid. Oh, I see. Konavle, I think. Is that what it was called? Konavle. Okay, I don't care about this American girl, her little adventure. No, dang it. Where's the food? Konavle, green. Hold on. Oh, green stew from Konavle. It's called Konavoska Zelena Menestra. That sounds interesting. That sounds like German food. Zelena Manestre. Menestra. Google Manestra. Manestra. Manestra.
This is our school. Elementary school.
Okay, I don't. Was that kale?
And this lovely old man helped us to pick.
Who would have known that kale was eaten by Balkan people for centuries before hipsters in America figured it out? They're like, "Oh, it's just called kale, man. They eat this in like Thailand somewhere." Like, actually, no, they've been eating this in the Balkans for thousands of years. Oh, right on, man. It's like kombucha. Everyone thinks kombucha comes from China. Everyone's like, "Oh, kombucha comes from China, guys." It comes from China. I actually spent a couple of hours researching this. Couldn't find any evidence whatsoever that kombucha comes from China. Kombucha does not come from China. Kombucha comes from Russia. Our oldest records that we have of kombucha is from Russia. And from Russia, it went into Europe and somehow it came to America. And in America, it has been marketed as kombucha. And kombucha is a Japanese word, kombucha, which literally means kelp tea. But we're not drinking kelp tea. We're drinking really a Russian fermented drink. And the Russians, I forget the Russian term for it, but but if you translate it into English, the Russians literally called it like mushroom tea, which actually makes a lot more sense because The SCOBY that you use, the kombucha culture they use to make the fermented drink, is literally a fungus. So it makes sense that the Russians would call it mushroom tea. You're hungry? Yeah, I know. Me too. So let's see here. What are we doing here? Meat.
Smoked pork, sausages,
Mmm.
bacon,
Bacon. Sausage. That sounds delicious. Okay, so what do we got here? Sausage. This dish, it must have either it came from Germany into Croatia, or the Croats taught it to the Germans, because this is straight up Grønkål. In Germany, they have a dish called Grønkål. I think they make the same thing in the Netherlands as well.
Now we are going
Possible
to
this is a German
put it in the
influence.
pot and boiled on high heat. We have previously filled up.
Okay, so you boil the meat. This is German food. This is Grønkål. The brassicas. Nice. Nice. So cabbage, kale. A lot of anti-inflammation here.
We will peel the potatoes.
Okay. Nice. Very hearty, very earthy and vibrant, and it's very peasanty and what's the term? It's like agricultural. What's the term for agricultural? There's another word for it that's more fitting. Agrarian. That's the word. It's very agrarian. I always thought Minestra was more of Italian influence. There's no way this is Italian influence, dude. This is straight up German. 100%. This is straight up German influence. Chopo, is this eaten commonly, or is this like something that your grandmother makes once a year?
Cabbage and potatoes in the same pot. We will push the cabbage down with a wooden spoon, cleaning the potatoes.
Yeah, Germans do the same dish.
Putting the meat into the pot, ready for serving. Enjoy your meal.
Sounds good.
We are turning one of our classrooms into a dining room where teachers.
There's a dish in Germany. It's called. Let me see if I can find it. Gron. Is this it? Grønkål. No. Oh, dang it. I'm not seeing it. Hold on. What's it called? Oh, I hate this. German dish with kale. Grünkohl. Grünkohl. It's the same. This Croatian recipe. It's basically the same as this recipe. It's the same thing. Grünkohl. Yep, there it is.
Zeige ich euch ein typisches Winterrezept.
You boil kale.
Und 2 bis 3 Minuten einfach mit einem Messer.
Potatoes. Sausage.
In Scheiben schneiden. Zwiebeln.
But this is a different version here. The pork is here. This is a less traditional version of it.
Good morning. Today I want
There's an old German guy here. Hold on. Hey, kale.
after they had a good frost in the field.
Sausage. It's the same thing. Doesn't look very appetizing. Anyway, you get the point. Here, minestra is made with beans and sausage. Sometimes also may include potatoes, pasta, or cabbages. I see. For Dutch dish, boerenkool. Yeah, it's the same thing as the German. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, guys, I've been here for 3 hours. Last week I was here for like 4 hours. So if you have any last questions for me, shoot me a question. Or I'll just get going. I watched that interview with Mel Gibson, by the way. I liked it. Oh, I did say I'll stay for 4 hours. Oh, God, I forgot. I'm off to play Metro 2033. A great game, by the way. Is it music time? Okay, we can do music. Does anybody have any songs that you want to send over? I think I said I'll probably be here for 4 hours. I don't think did I say I'll be here for 4? Okay, I am. We got 16 people here, so most people have left. But Metro is a great game. I love that game. My favorite one was Metro Exodus. It was such a beautiful game. Kralu Dmitry Zomimiri. Kralu Dmitry. I found some new music. I posted it on my video yesterday. This song was awesome. Not this. This was okay. But the song was that I posted in was beautiful. I love this song. It's Ukraine. It's Russian or Ukrainian. I'm not sure. Great music. And by the way, the beginning of the song, he's saying, "Where is my homeland?" That's how he begins the song. And I played it in my video yesterday on the Catholic Church because, in a way, I'm asking, "Where is my homeland? Like, where is my church? I don't see it." Sokolavi sivi tisi. Sokolovi sivi tisi. Sokolovi. Okay, hold on. Let's do more cooking videos. Okay. Let's see. Let's play this song. Oh no, is this Croatian? Oh, this is Serbian. Ugh, I don't like marching music. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get going. I'm tired. I know I said 4. I've changed my mind. I'm gonna go 3 hours. This is too much. But I enjoyed the conversation. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday evening or your Saturday. And yeah, God bless you guys. You guys just heard some Theology. God bless.